This is Atomic Shinobi and today I'm going to narrate first part of What If Kid Naruto Was a Prodigy. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe to this channel. Always wasting no more time, let's start the story.
At the age of 7, Uzumaki Naruto was poised in front of the Ninja Academy, ready for anything. He had deep blue eyes, whiskered cheeks, and blonde, spiky hair with two bangs framing his face. Think Minato. He was dressed in orange pants, blue shinobi sandals, and a black shirt with an orange spiral on the back that represented the Uzumaki clan. Overall, he bore a striking resemblance to the fourth Hokage. As the ceremony was about to begin on his first day at the academy, he entered quietly and timidly and sat down next to a boy wearing a pineapple ponytail. Excited, but still bashful, he smiled. "Hello. Are you Nara Shikamaru?" When the recently dubbed Shikamaru asked, Naruto turned around and smiled nervously before responding, "Uzumaki Naruto." They smiled as they got to know one another better and Naruto met Aburame Shino, Inuzuka Kiba, and Akamichi Choji. He got along well with all four of them, it turned out. "Hello." Kiba called out to a shy, attractive girl, "Hinata, come on over here." When she saw that all four of them were staring at her, she flushed and approached them. Playing with her fingers, she said softly, "Oh. Ohio Kiba.kun, Shino.kun." Shino introduced each boy at the table, saying, "Nice to see you again, Hinata. This is Akamichi Choji, Nara Shikamaru, and Uzumaki Naruto." She smiled at the three and said, "Oh. Ohio, I'm Hyuga Hinata." Naruto was staring when Choji and Shikamaru greeted him, but he was smacked on the back of the head by a hand. "Overly protective," Kiba said. "Stop staring at her." With a shy reply, Naruto scratched the back of his head. He looked at Hinata, who was now blushing wildly, and said, "Sorry, I have it with staring at pretty girls." He smiled nervously. As he stood up, Naruto said, "Oh, right, here, take a seat." Kiba then turned to face the girls who were staring at Naruto and remarked, "Look who's the latest man. A blushing Uzumaki, a blushing Hyuga, a half slumbering Nara, and eating Akamichi, a bored looking Aburame, and a laughing Inuzuka were all seated at the middle table in the class. Sorry, I don't really talk to people often so I don't really know what to do or say," Naruto said, blushing. Naruto blushed even more when he heard the whispers that went on in the background, such as, "Who's the hunk? He's such a gentleman," and even, "I wouldn't mind getting that all to myself." Hinata said, "Arigato Naruto.kun," with a shy smile, and then sat down. When their new sensei arrived grinning, Naruto, Kiba, and Shino were seated behind Hinata, Shikamaru, and Choji. He smiled at the class and said, "All right, class, I'm Amino Iruka, your sensei. You can call me Iruka. Sensei or Amino. Sensei if you want. Now let's start with introducing ourselves. Only have to tell us about your name and dream," he said, gesturing to a boy with raven hair. "I'm Uchiha Sasuke. My dream is to surpass my brother. A.N. This is prior to the Uchiha massacre." The next round went to a pink-haired girl, who said, "I'm Haruno Sakura, and I haven't thought about it yet." Next to a pale blonde, who said, "I'm Yamanaka Ino, and this is Akamaru, and my dream is to become a great shinobi with Akamaru by my side." Then a certain dog boy, "I'm Aburame Shino, and I don't have a dream." He said simply, then our favorite blonde, "I'm Uzumaki Naruto. My dream is to become Hokage and protect this village no matter what." Finally, Hinata, Shikamaru, and Choji, and the rest of the class ended swiftly. As a few students raised their hands, Iruka said, "So, I want to know if any one of you knows what a ninja's life energy is." He turned to face Naruto and gestured for him to speak. "You can use a jutsu by bringing out and releasing chakra, which is accomplished by performing seals with your hands. It's called chakra. It's the energy a ninja needs when performing a jutsu. That energy has two parts. The body energy that exists in each of your billions of cells and the spiritual energy gained through training and other experiences. These two types are combined." Naruto explained with a soft smile. "That's right, Naruto. Well done," Iruka exclaimed with joy. Kiba nudged Shino and said, "We're friends with a genius Shino." Naruto blushed slightly at the compliment. "Lunch break, oi. Naruto," Kiba shouted, waving at Naruto as he was walking out by himself in search of his new friends. He turned to face Shikamaru, Shino, Choji, Kiba, and Hinata, who were seated on the lawn. With an unprecedented smile, Naruto ran to them and sat down to engage in small talk. Choji, who was eating some chips, said, "So, Naruto, how do you know so much?" Naruto had responded to every question in class and was now regarded as a smart guy. Naruto replied with a faint smile, I read a lot. After I read it, it kind of gets stuck in my head. Shikamaru proposed, you mean like a photographic memory? Naruto smiled and said, no, it's more like me arresting this information and going to jail. Kiba remarked, oi, Naruto. All the girls are staring at you. You need a haircut. Looking around, Naruto saw that all of the girls were staring at him, which caused him to blush a little. He turned to face the boy with the raven hair, who went by the nickname Uchiha Sasuke. Naruto sighed with relief at the idea of someone else attracting the other girl's attention. Sorry, Kiba-san. I like my hair and I'm attractive, he said bluntly. Hinata, would you like to trade? Kiba said, holding an onigiri. Hinata stumbled. But Kiba-kun, I only have onigiri. When a drooling dog interrupted Naruto as he was packing his lunch, he put his bento box down and grinned, feeling sorry for the dog. Teriyaki chicken was in the box, and he rose as the others stared at him, blushing at the attention. Sorry, wasn't I supposed to do that? He asked, looking down at Orochimaru. After asking, you gave up your lunch for my dog? Kiba approached him and handed Naruto an onigiri, saying, I like you man, you're my new best friend. As Naruto took the onigiri, Kiba sat down beside him, still observing the girls gawking at the soft, blonde. Though it was obviously good, Orochimaru happily ate Naruto's lunch, barking at the taste. While Kiba talked about his and Orochimaru's adventures, Hinata listened to him. Shino played with a few bugs, and Naruto blushed from all the attention and looks he received from the girls. Choji and Shikamaru were looking up at the sky and watching the clouds. Naruto smiled at the silent boy and said, Shino-san, why do you like bugs so much? Bugs are misunderstood creatures, always seen as disgusting and ugly. I see them as fascinating and strong creatures. Why? Because they take care of themselves at a very young age, proving to us that we are the weak ones. Shino responded as though he had it under control, which he did. Now that the break was over, the 6 friends entered once more. Iruka looked at his students outside the academy and said, all right, students, let me see how good you are at Taijutsu. Everyone knows what that is, right? For those who don't know, Taijutsu is hand-to, hand combat. No kenjutsu, no ninjutsu, and no genjutsu. Understood? The children confirmed, hi sensei. Iruka declared, good. First pair, Uzumaki Naruto and Uchiha Sasuke, as the 2 boys approached the field. Iruka showed them the sign and said, now that you're here, make the symbol of combat, it's the proper protocols. Naruto and Sasuke both made the sign and started. Sasuke landed a kick in his stomach after Naruto swung low, causing him to fall on his hands and quickly stand up. Sasuke then threw a series of punches at Naruto, but he avoided them all except for one that struck his jaw, sending him flying slightly upwards. Naruto then used the opportunity to kick Sasuke in the head, sending him to the ground. When Naruto realized he had won, he stood over Sasuke with his fist inches from his face and grinned, saying, winner Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto got to his feet while the fangirls squealed and called his name. Well done, good shot, Sasuke defended. Unaware of his words until he replayed them in his mind, Naruto said bluntly, actually, you lack of speed. Grr, that's it, you are my rival from now on, Sasuke screamed, clearly upset. Naruto raised his hands in surrender, saying, Uchiha-san, I'm sorry, really. No, Sasuke yelled again, completely out of character, because you are my rival and we will remain that way. Great fight man. Kiba remarked, very strategic. Shino added, gee. Great fight and Naruto-kun. Hinata blushed. Naruto swallowed, a little uncertain about how Sasuke's fangirls would react. He held out his fingers in the sign of harmony, and so did Sasuke while growling. Naruto stepped over to his friends once more, head down. Thanks. Naruto grinned at his companions as he turned to face Shikamaru and Choji, who were now engaged in combat. Choji glanced at his sensei and said, sensei. Yes, Choji? Inquired Iruka. Choji grinned and said, I really don't want to beat up my friend. With his tablet in hand, Iruka clarified, that's not what we're doing, Choji. This is a traditional shinobi spar. Even the Hokage and his friends did it to get stronger. Shikamaru said, it's okay, I lose by forfeit, it's too troublesome anyway. Kiba bluntly responded, not necessarily, why? Because he may live a very long life and thing. Iruka sighed. He got no drive at all. He'll be a genin forever. Kiba's irritation interrupted Shino, who said, don't be such a nitpicker man. Naruto could only sigh at his friends. Stupid Shikamaru, He's the one causing trouble, and Choji lacks courage, Ino yelled. You know them, Ino. Chan? Inquired Sakura. Yes, our parents. Iruka said, all right, Shikamaru, Choji, the symbol of harmony, and went on to the next one. After the matches, Iruka started explaining to the students their skills. Okay, the best fighter I'll have to say is Naruto. Congratulations, Naruto. You thought about your moves, and when Sasuke thought he had you there, you surprised him with that kick. Sasuke, don't underestimate your enemies, they might come back and bite you in the ass. Sakura, Ino. You both need to work and to take this seriously or else you'll die on your first mission. Choji and Shikamaru. There will come a time when you'll have to fight someone you care about, so keep that in mind. Shino, you showed good strategy, but you lack power. Kiba, very good, but you need a brain. Hinata, pretty good, the best girl to date. Outside after school. Before they parted ways, Naruto waved to the other 5 and said, see you guys tomorrow. On his way home, Naruto thought, yeah, today was awesome. So much acknowledgement in so little time, by the way all those people stared at me. Hinata.san is so adorable. Uchiha.san is scary. Kiba.san. Shino.san. Choji.san. And Shikamaru.san are great. Yamanaka.san and Haruno.san are pretty scary when they want to be. Kyuubi cautioned, oi, Gaki. Don't flaunt yourself too much. The villagers will only despise you more for your dangerous strength. Naruto sounded like an awesome guy as he said, I know, Kurama.ni. But I don't want to be dead. Last, what am I going to learn today? Kurama lectured, how to nap. Lay down on your couch and go to sleep, then wake up later that day feeling like shit. After saying, to grandpa it is, Naruto hurried to the Hokage tower. In the elderly man's workplace, G.san asked Naruto, glancing around. Sarutobi gestured for Naruto.kun to approach, saying, ah, come here for a moment. I want to share my first day with you, OG.san. I made some new friends and some new enemies. It's so awesome, Naruto cried. So, Naruto.kun, it seems like you had a wonderful day. How was the instruction? Easy, I already excel at everything, but I'd like to graduate alongside my friends. The Hokage grinned and said, Naruto.kun, tell me about your new friends. At this point, Naruto blushed. It's very adorable and kind, and pretty, and strong, really a lovely girl. Shino.san is really quiet, but deep when it comes to his bugs. Choji.san eats a lot but has a good heart, he sees underneath a person not outside. Shikamaru.san is really lazy, but funny at times. Kiba.san, I think that dude is crazy, he scares me. Looks like someone has a crush, Sarutobi jokingly said. N.Nojii. San. Naruto reddened profusely. Oh, please. Naruto.kun. As you grow older, you'll understand and quit fighting it. I learned how to nap from Kurama.ni. Naruto and the Hokage both started to perspire at this point. Interesting. At the ramen stand in Ichiraku. Naruto sat down on the chair at Ichiraku's ramen and said, Tuchi.san, please, a large miso ramen. Coming right up, Naruto, Tuchi said. How was your first day at the academy then? Naruto boasted, wonderful, I made some new friends and I'm the smartest in class. Nay, don't boast, Naruto.kun, Ayame uttered. He smiled warmly and said, I apologize, Ayame.nay. Chan. It's great to be acknowledged. I could avoid the girls' stares, but it's still scary. Kurama teasingly said, beware of the fangirls kit. I got you to save me, right Kura.ni? Naruto thought, mocking the remark. Kit, of course, always. After paying and finishing the 13 ramen dishes he had ordered, Naruto went home to rest. You know what, I'm going to give that nap thing a try, nay Kurama.ni, he said. Kurama chuckled and dozed off. Biwahahaha. Good luck Kit. At the same academy, the same class, and with the same characters, 5 years later, Naruto is dressed in a dark orange shirt, a blue hoodie jacket with short sleeves and a red spiral on the back, bandages on his elbows, blue loose shorts under his knees, a shuriken holster on his back, a kunai holster tied around his right, blue shinobi sandals, and a hite.8 around his forehead. He saw Hinata sitting between two people as soon as he entered the classroom, and he sighed in annoyance. Naruto realized that he had loved her since the day he first met her, and he moved to sit down a seat away from the Uchiha. Good morning, Uchiha.san, Naruto said with a smile. HN. Sasuke answered. Naruto choked on his own salvia at that thought, and all the fangirls stared at him in concern as he coughed. He's still mad about 5 years ago. And the most embarrassing thing a month ago. Naruto blushed at the attention. You can't expect them to forget. Kurama teased. Yes, exactly, yaoi. The two hottest guys in the class are fulfilling every fangirl's fantasy. Demon illusion. No jutsu flashback. Naruto ran to class because he had a taijutsu exam today. Since the sparring partners were chosen based on strength, he knew he would face a stronger or weaker opponent, since he was the strongest, of course, and he looked down at the ground at the prospect of facing Sasuke once more. He saw his friends in class talking without him. Good morning, guys. He sat down next to Hinata and said, Oh, Ohio Naruto.kun. When Hinata said, Oh, Ohio, Naruto, who was very impatient, drew her into an embrace right away. Hina-chan, he said, grinning into her neck without realizing she had just passed out. It was time to spar outside the academy. Naruto asked, Are you okay, Hina-chan? Yeah, I'm fine, Naruto.kun, she said with a smile. Good, I thought I just killed you there, Naruto sighed in relief. Iruka called up, Uzumaki Naruto vs Uchiha Sasuke. Naruto then approached the field with a soft smile in the hopes that it would soothe him. Crap, he's going to be after me again. This time, Uzumaki, I'm going to prevail, Sasuke said. I apologized the last time, Uchiha-san, Naruto reminded him. Fight me with everything you have, don't care. I don't wish to murder you. GR, that's it, die Uzumaki, yelled Sasuke as he ran toward him and kicked him in the stomach, but Naruto ducked by lunging through the air. Sasuke then aimed his kick slightly higher, striking Naruto in the leg, causing him to fall to the ground and dragged Sasuke along with him. Sasuke and Naruto ended up locking as all the girls screamed at them, their eyes full of hearts. Kya? Naruto cried, pushing Sasuke away. Uchiha-san, that kiss was reserved. Sasuke defended, saying, You think I wanted to kiss you, Uzumaki? And you pulled me down with you? Naruto concluded, saying, Damn you. That kiss wasn't yours. It never happened and we'll never speak of it again. Deal. Sasuke concurred. All of the girls still had hearts in their eyes as they turned to face the boys, who laughed heartily as Hinata stood there gaping and wide-eyed like an outsider. Naruto muttered, Hina-chan, I swear it didn't mean anything, Hina-chan. She assumed she was blushing. Naruto.kun, I didn't know you and Sasuke.kun swung that way. EHH! Exclaimed Sasuke and Naruto as they gazed at the unfortunate girl. Huh? Sasuke pondered the massive murderer's intent on him, turning to face the boy on the ground beside him. He had just discovered the source. Uchiha-san, I'll kill you, Naruto muttered menacingly. Sasuke's head was eventually in the ground, and Naruto had explained the situation to Hinata. Illusion of demon. Ni-san, don't remind me, Naruto shuddered. From behind, Shikamaru uttered, Oi, Naruto. You should give up on him, he'll never become human. I understand, but Naruto was cut off when two fangirls burst through the door. First, when they approached the table where Naruto and Sasuke were seated, Naruto heard them fighting. I want to sit between them. The girls in the class cried, but they stopped when Naruto stood up. What if I move? Uchiha-san sits in the middle and two lucky girls can sit next to him. Naruto proposed, grinning at the fangirls, who were either fainting or blushing from his smile. Seeing that he was getting no response from them, he spoke up and said, Okay, that's how we do it. Now what about those two girls sitting next to Hyuga-san? Come on, don't be shy, he said, forcing them to leave the area, but he was unwilling to cooperate. Naruto whispered dangerously, Uchiha-san, what about you move to the middle or I'll sell you to the hot Springs female department. Sasuke knew he wasn't kidding, so he moved aside to allow the two girls to pass by him. Looking at Hinata, Naruto grinned and thought, I'm a genius. He hurried over to one side of Hinata and said, Hina-chan, how are you? Before embracing the girl. The bashful Hyuga said, Naruto.kun, I'm fine, thank you. How about you? With a tighter hug, Naruto said, I'm fine now. I get to sit beside you now, I'm happy, which caused Hinata to blush deeply. Naruto blushed deeply when Kiba said, Oi, Naruto, stop hug. Rape Hinata. In his mind, Naruto added, with Hina-chan. My intentions are pure Kiba-san. I decided to wait with stuff like that until I get married. Alright, students, from today off you're officially genins. Meaning, You're the lowest of the lowest after academy students, of course. Now to pronounce Rookie of the Year, with a total score of maximum points. The Rookie of the Year is Uzumaki Naruto. This attracted Naruto's attention and the fangirls who squealed, and people congratulated him, ignoring the killer intent the raven-haired boy sent to the blonde. Iruka emerged smiling after a brief moment or two. Wow, I'm that good? Fantastic, Naruto declared bluntly. Kiba said, congrats, dude. You deserved it. Shikamaru, Choji, Shino, and Hinata also concurred. Thanks, guys, Naruto said with a soft smile. Iruka used the big-ass head jutsu to shout, okay, quiet down. I said quiet. Naruto nodded off. Now, we have to go over the teams and we'll start with team number 1. Kurama teased, San, you perverted idiot, don't think about Hinata. San like that. Hina-chan, I want to be with Hina-chan, being with Hina-chan without pure intentions. At that moment, Naruto choked on his own salvia. Stupid thought, don't listen to the other side of you, Naruto, respect Hinata.san. Now to team 7, Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto's thoughts were interrupted, and he looked up instantly. Uchiha Sasuke, he said, followed by the sound of two preteens slamming their heads down on the table. If you looked closely, you could see that all of the fangirls were already getting excited and praying for Kami-sama to be on that team, and Haruno Sakura. Everyone went silent due to the Kunoichi's celebration, and once more Naruto and Sasuke's heads were on the table. When Naruto said, Team 8, Hyuga Hinata, he once more focused on the opponent. He switched teams and said, Inuzuka Kiba, but Iruka was cut off when Naruto tackled Kiba, who was seated in front of him. Switch with me, demanded Naruto. Kiba retorted, no, I will not be with the brooding bastard. I'll kick your ass until next week if you don't switch with me. 5 years ago, I knew a shy genius. What happened to him? I would like to join Hinata-san's team. I believed your intentions were pure. I want to be with her, yes. Kiba realized that he was not referring to the teams at this point. Get off of me, Kiba growled softly as he surveyed their position, with his back to the ground and his legs spread wide, with our favorite blonde leaning over in between. I knew you were gay. At least I'm seen. Naruto nervously scratched his chin as Kiba pushed him away. As I was saying, Iruka began as Naruto and Kiba seated themselves. The last and third member of Team 8 is Aburame Shino. Naruto jumped in Shino's direction and said his name in a cheerful tone. As he was still in the air, Shino turned around and said, no, in a chilly voice, and Naruto fell to the ground in front of him, sobbing anime waterfall tears. Why? Naruto asked, his eyes still streaming down his face. Shino muttered, as Kiba stated, why? Because Sakura is just a fangirl and Sasuke is a real brooding bastard. You can't work with them. Naruto sobbed as he made his way to his seat, the atmosphere darkening around him. Great. I'm with apparently my rival, as he put it so nicely, and a fangirl. I'm not going to be strong, I'm not going to be Hokage, and I'm not going to protect my precious people. Team 10, Yamanaka Ino, Nara Shikamaru, and Akamichi Choji, are still running because Team 9 is still running. 3 thuds were heard from the preteens banging their heads against the table. Alright, that's it for now. Eat your lunch and come back to meet your Chuunin senseis. For lunch. While carrying a bento box down the street, Naruto noticed Sakura sitting there looking very sad. He approached her and, without her noticing, sat down on the bench next to her. What's bothering you, Haruno.san? Naruto asked, smiling politely, as Sakura looked up and blushed wildly. Sakura responded with a dejected sigh, N.no, Naruto.kun, or yes. Sasuke.kun can't seem to accept that we're a team now, we have to get to know each other. We can always get to know one another now, Haruno.san. What is your pastime? He inquired. Sakura smiled and said, I enjoy reading and do it a lot in my free time. How about you? Sakura blushed as Naruto held out his bento box in front of her and said, you want to taste? I've never had any critics, especially from Kiba. San's dog, Akamaru.san. Man, he loves it. Well, in my free time I usually train, read, hang out with my friends, cooking. She thought, he's so charming. Shanaru, I think he likes us, Inner Sakura exclaimed. Sure, I would love to taste. Naruto pulled out some chopsticks from God knows where, and handed them to Sakura, who accepted them with a smile. It's really delicious, Naruto.kun. After giving her a smile, Naruto turned to face Sasuke's and said, Uchiha.san, came to join us? We are getting to know each other. Sasuke calmly stated, I came to tell you, you shouldn't get in my way when we're a team. It would only be bad for you. He was aiming a small amount of his deadly intent at Naruto. When Sakura and Naruto watched him leave, Naruto sighed and lowered his head, covering his eyes with his bangs. What did I ever do to him? He asked. Following lunch, while waiting for their senseis, Hinata sat next to Naruto and asked, Naruto-kun, are you alright? He looked up at her, blushing profusely at the way she stared at him, and said, with a cough to sound more normal. I'm fine, thank you for worrying Hinata-san, he said, placing a hand on her shoulder while still blushing. She gave him a gentle smile and said, That's good. Good luck with your team Naruto-kun. When she looked for him, she discovered him in a corner, rooking back and forth at a medium pace with his knees to his chest and his arms around his knees. Are you mocking me? He asked. Iruka and every team were gone after 3 hours, with the exception of Team 7. Sakura was complaining and Sasuke was brooding when Naruto pulled out a scroll and started writing some seals. The other male glanced at Naruto and raised an eyebrow, and Naruto returned the glance with a gentle smile. He continued to smile as he said, I'm from the Uzumaki clan, and we're masters over seals. He then looked down to draw the remaining seals, and when he was finished, Naruto bit his thumb until it bled while making hand signals and muttering something about seal art. He then ran the bleeding thumb across the seals, and a box appeared. After opening it and obtaining some chopsticks from an unknown source, Naruto started eating from the mystery box. The classroom doors opened, and a silver-haired man emerged, with a mask to the bridge of his nose and a hite covering the rest of his face, except for his right eye. As his right eye met each member of Team 7, the enigmatic silver-haired man said, My first impression of you guys, the files must be fake. Meet me at the roof in 5, he said, then poofed off. As the team's leader, Naruto declared, We'll let go. On the roof. When the three entered, their sensei remarked, It took you quite a while. Sakura grumbled, It took you longer just to get to the classroom. Ma, let's begin by introducing ourselves. Tell me about your likes, dislikes, dreams, hobbies, and anything else along those lines. I'll go first. I'm the stranger in this team. My name is Hitaki Kakashi, and I dislike. I didn't have a dream, but I had a nightmare last night. I got a lot of hobbies, the unidentified sensei said. The three genins all thought the same thing and perspired. All we learned was his name, Sasuke, and Sakura pondered. Our favorite blonde said, I need to get a mask like that. Kakashi pointed to Naruto and said, Okay, Blondie, you're up. Oh, I'm Uzumaki Naruto. I enjoy cooking, reading, ramen, training. Kurama.ni, G.san, and hi. Naruto blushed wildly and continued, I don't really dislike anything. My goal is to become Hokage and defend this village from any threat. I enjoy cooking, reading, and training. Naruto smiled. Interesting, Pinky, Kakashi said, gesturing for Sakura to begin. Looking at Naruto and Sasuke once more, Sasuke twitched in frustration, and Naruto appeared perplexed. I'm Haruno Sakura, I dislike Ino. Pig, my dream is to, my hobby is reading. Broody. Kakashi gestured toward Sasuke. My name is Uchiha Sasuke, and I detest everything. I have no dreams, but I have ambitions, and I'm going to kill someone and restore my clan. Sasuke said, folding his arms in front of his face so that only his eyes were visible. Kami. Sama, help me, Naruto thought, concealing his face behind his bangs as he swallowed the final sentence. With his signature eye. Smile, Kakashi thought, looks exactly like Minato. Sensei, cute, Sasuke looks like Fugaku. Sensei. Alright, my adorable little students, I'll see you tomorrow for some survival training. Keep in mind that only 9 of the 27 who passed will become genins. The odds are 66%. At this point, the odds are against you. Oh, I almost forgot, don't eat breakfast because you might throw up. Kakashi concluded and was carried away with a puff. Did he mean that? Inquired Naruto. Sasuke said as he left, What, the Rookie of the Year is afraid? You don't deserve that title. Naruto jumped off the roof and landed on another, saying, He still hates me, see you tomorrow Haruno.san. Ni.san. Any advice? He asked, Eat breakfast kit. No shit Sherlock, Naruto thought sarcastically. When it came time for the test the following morning, Naruto realized that their sensei had never given them the location. Oh, well, he thought, to the Hokage Tower. After a fantastic superhero scene change, Naruto found himself at the entrance to the Hokage Tower. He proceeded down the hallway until he bumped into someone, and when he opened his eyes, he saw that it was none other than Hyuga Hinata, who was staring at him with a dark crimson face that looked like a blush. His eyes widened when he realized that he was still on top of her, and he jumped up, bowing his head deeply. "Sorry Hinata-san, sorry. I was in a hurry, I guess," he said. She responded, flushed, Naruto-kun, it's okay, we didn't see where we were walking. He thought, got to save that feeling in the Hina-chan is lovely, folder. Naruto stammered, swallowing silently. She got soft skin. He mentally noted the sensation. Smirking on the inside, blushing on the outside. Hinata-san, what are you doing here? He inquired. She replied as she passed, waving, I was just turning in a report for my father. I have to go have a team meeting. You're going to be the end of me, God, Hina-chan. Naruto jumped when he heard a familiar voice ask, moron, do you enjoy talking to yourself? Naruto inquired, do you guys know where we're going to meet Hitaki? Sensei, you Uchiha-san, Haruno-san? Yes, training ground 7. Come on, moron. Sasuke said, leaving with Sakura and Naruto, who were muttering something to themselves. He still hates me. Ground of training 7. After 3 hours. Sakura blushed as she thought about herself and the two boys on their team. Naruto was playing with a leaf, and Sasuke was brooding as usual. Naruto began, Uchiha-san, Haruno-san? Perhaps we should train a little before Hitaki. Sensei arrives and work on our tea, before a puff of smoke cut him off. Yo. Their beloved sensei was standing there and introduced himself. Naruto merely stated, Hitaki. Sensei, you're late. I'm sorry, ma'am, but Superman called and asked for my assistance with Lex Luthor. The team broke down in tears at the poor apology. Here are 2 bells. This bell is set to noon. Those of you who don't get a bell will be tied to one of those logs and fail this test, which means you will be sent back to the academy. Also, if none, 1, or 2 of you get a bell, the 3, 2, or 1 of you will watch me and 1 or 2 eat lunch. Get it? Kakashi displayed 2 bells and an alarm, then sat the alarm on a log until noon. I didn't understand the last part, Naruto answered. Kakashi responded, those of you who don't get a bell will not get any lunch. When Naruto heard 2 stomachs growling, his smile vanished. Oh, good thing I ate breakfast. Kakashi twitched his right eyebrow in frustration and thought, Sensei, I'm going to kill your kid, sorry. Okay, on your marks, get set, begin. He yelled as he watched his 3 students quickly vanish. Alongside Naruto. Naruto smirked as he looked down at the tree he was in, their beautiful sensei in a bad position, and thought, I have to get that bell, wait, what, how are we going to fight a Chuunin alone? We are barely genins. Are they brain dead? Alongside Sasuke. Looking for opportunities, Sasuke thought, I have to get that bell. Winning against a Chuunin will make me stronger. Unfortunately, it wasn't his lucky day. Alongside Sakura. Sakura thought, I have to get a bell. The 2 sexiest guys in the class said, damn, I'll never get a bell. Alongside Kakashi. This is going to be fun, 2 prodigies and a brainiac. Let's just hope they'll figure it out. At this point, a powerful wind blew a bunch of leaves in front of Kakashi, and someone, whom we all know as Naruto, rose from the bunch. As he assumed his fighting stance, Kakashi thought, that was interesting. With a serious expression, Naruto said, Hitaki. Sensei, I'm not here to fight but to find out, how can a genin take down a Chuunin? And why would you put us on teams if you wanted to put us against each other? Kakashi said, assuming his fighting stance once more, I'll give you good observation skills, but I'm not here to talk, I'm here to test you. All right, Naruto said, and as he raised his hand, a big bundle of leaves gathered around him in a whirlwind. Just to let you know, I got the upper hand. With that, a small bunch of leaves gathered in a circle around his hand, and he quickly spun it around while adding wind chakra to it. Wind style. Spinning leaves, he yelled, and he threw the spinning leaves in a circle towards Kakashi, who dodged it and sought refuge in the trees. How the hell can he control leaves? Kakashi's eyes widened. Leaf coffin. The leaves wrapped around him, and with a leaf funeral, he was crushed. Naruto's eyes widened, but he was happy about it. His sensei had just used substitution jutsu on him. Naruto looked around suspiciously, wondering, where is he? Then he heard someone shout, fire style, fireball jutsu, and a thought came to him. Alongside Sasuke. He looked up, asking, where is he? Up, right, left, behind. He saw that he was nowhere, not even below. "Oi, Uchiha-san!" shouted Naruto as he ran in his direction. "What, idiot?" inquired Sasuke. Naruto grabbed him by the wrist and dragged him along with him, saying, "Come on, I have a plan." Alongside Sasuke and Naruto. "What?" inquired Sasuke. "It's a straightforward plan. Go tell Haruno-san everything, and I'll find the ideal moment," Naruto clarified. "Who appointed you team leader?" "The Rookie of the Year title did," Naruto replied with a smile. Alongside Kakashi. He thought, where are they? They should be failing by now. A moment later, Naruto and Sasuke were standing next to each other. "Wind style. Spinning leaves level 2. Naruto shouted, flinging the rolling leaves into the air. Sasuke formed the hand signals and yelled, "Fire style. Fireball jutsu." A fireball emerged from his mouth. The Uzuma Uchi combined plasma was a larger and more powerful jutsu, as the spinning leaves abruptly grew into a larger circle of leaves and the fireball appeared behind it. The spot where their sensei should have been was deserted when the smoke and flames had subsided. "Did we overdo it?" asked Naruto. "No, that was perfect." Sasuke grinned. "Below you guys," a voice said from below. "Earth style." Two hands grabbed the two boys' legs, headhunter jutsu. The voice finished, pulling them down until only their head was visible. Kakashi arrived, grinning his famous eye. Smile. Bending behind them and staring down at them. "You should have seen that coming," he said, hearing the bells, and turning around to see Sakura smiling while holding the two bells. "Excellent work, Haruno-san," Naruto said, remaining on the ground. "This is embarrassing. Can someone get us up?" Sasuke grumbled as he heard Naruto giggling. At the logs after some time, Kakashi began, "I guess I have no choice but to pass you guys. You three worked well together, and in the end you got the bells." Naruto stood up and bowed his head, saying, "Thank you, sensei." "You're welcome. However, I'll see Sakura and Sasuke tomorrow morning at 7, just like I'll see Naruto at the Hokage Tower later today." Naruto thought foolishly, "Hey, funny. We're Team 7, we're going to meet at 7 on Training Grounds 7 funny." Office of the Hokage. The third said, anxiously observing Naruto swallow. "Naruto, please explain the leaf control Kakashi-san just told me about." After turning 8, Naruto said, I kind of found a way to control it. I didn't use it in the academy, because it might have hurt somebody." "How do you control it?" inquired the elderly man. "The way I control it, I discovered that my chakra coils were too great, if you can call that that. I was training all night at the training grounds, which were surrounded by trees. A few days ago, on the day I arrived at the training grounds, I discovered that my type was wind, and I started training with leaves at that time. After realizing that wind chakra gave the leaves reactions, I thought of turning leaves into a weapon by inserting wind chakra into each coil of the leaf, and I started training at that point." Naruto began. "I passed with the clone jutsu by using leaf clones, also with the help of Kurama.ni. It's in my files," Naruto replied with a smile. As a loud voice interrupted Naruto, Kurama boasted, "That's right, Kit. I'm just awesome that way. I'm taking your hat today, old man." As Naruto turned to face the voice, he noticed a child tripping over his own scarf and landing face down. "Ouch," the young boy whimpered. Naruto approached the young boy and said, "You okay? I don't think you should attack Hokage. Gigi so recklessly." He smiled and said, "Next time, I'll help." The boy narrowed his eyes suspiciously and glanced up at his smiling face. "You tripped me, didn't you?" the boy said. "Hey, I was over there, kid. My name is Uzumaki Naruto. How about you?" Naruto introduced himself politely, grinning as brightly as the fourth Hokage's face. "I'm Sarutobi Konohamaru, the grandson of the third Hokage. You're going to treat me with respect." "Why, you don't know me?" Naruto shook his head in response. Naruto inquired, "Konohamaru, like the village, ne?" Hiruzen told his grandson, "Konohamaru-chan, Naruto-kun treats everybody with respect, even his enemies." Embarrassed, Naruto scratched the back of his neck and defended himself by saying, Hokage. Gigi, only happened once." The third got up from his seat and said, "Yes, it did, Naruto-kun. It's been a fascinating conversation, but I have a meeting with the council," he said with a defeated sigh. "Those people got me wrapped around their little fingers." Naruto said as he left the room, "I have to go too, I'm hungry and I haven't cleaned my apartment in a while." Konohamaru questioned, "Chan? Uzumaki Naruto, isn't he the prodigy the council and you always talk about?" Hiruzen replied, Yes, he is Konohamaru. Chan, the smartest boy since the 4th. Who knows, maybe he'll even outsmart me. Alongside Naruto. Naruto looked behind him and thought, why do I feel like someone is watching me? Oh right, Sarutobi-san. He laughed at Konohamaru's pitiful attempt to disguise himself. Sarutobi-san. What do you say I'll teach you something about disguises? He said. Konohamaru exclaimed, oh yeah, before collapsing to the ground. In the woods. Konohamaru shouted excitedly, let's do this, what are you going to teach me? When a camellia camouflages itself, they think of color. We ninjas have to think of our chakra. It's a dead giveaway. Naruto began. First, when you're hiding, keep it down. Second, be one with the surroundings, don't let your chakra give yourself away. You'll be gone. He concluded, and 2 hours later, Konohamaru was defeated. Thanks for the training, Aniki. My head hurts, you use too many words. Konohamaru complained. Aniki, nay? You're welcome Oto. Naruto smiled. Naruto noticed a midnight blue color and blushed as he stared at the person. Konohamaru appeared to notice this as well and looked in the same direction. The person was none other than Hyuga Hinata, a girl with midnight blue hair, lavender eyes, and a hite.8 around her neck. I have a crush on you, Naruto. Chan, Konohamaru teased. The poor boy was struck on the head by Naruto as he screamed, EHN.NO. And have some respect for your Aniki. Naturally, Naruto saw this and blushed deeply, and Hinata gestured for her team to move over there as she glanced over at the shouting. Kiba spoke quickly, Naruto, you fool, we've been searching for you. Did you pass? Of course you did, it's you. Naruto smiled and said, Kiba.san, Shino.san, Hinata.san, how are you guys? Kiba asked with a silly smile, we're great, we just passed with Team 10, so we're going for some barbecue with Shika and Choji, which brings us to you. You can bring the brat. Naruto explained, nervously scratching his head, sorry Kiba.san, the brat has to go home, oh sorry, not a brat, he's a good kid, sorry Ototo. I'll tell Chan that you called me a brat, Aniki, Konohamaru threatened. Naruto said, no, don't come with us then. This is my academy friends Hyuga Hinata, Aburame Shin, and Inazuka Kiba. Please pronounce them politely. Hello, I'm Sarutobi Konohamaru. It's nice to meet you all, Konohamaru said courteously. Nice to meet you, too. Kiba added, don't listen to your brother, who is a nerd. You don't need to be polite. Hinata declared, Let's go, Shikamaru.kun and Choji. K.kun or W. Waiting for us, right N.now. Alright, let's go, Kiba declared, in the barbecue. Don't be so polite, remember Naruto, we're your friends, so be human for once, Kiba remarked. I apologize, Naruto whispered. Shikamaru turned to face Konohamaru and said, hey guys, good to see you here. Who's the brat? With puppy eyes, Konohamaru questioned, why do people keep calling me a brat? Ni.san kick their asses for me will ya? Will you? Naruto informed him. You're not my mother, I said. Say it. Naruto frightened the boy by demanding the release of a ton of killer intent. I apologize, Ni.san. Will you? Konohamaru stammered in fear. Naruto ruffled his hair and praised him, saying, good boy. The 5 other newly genins thought, scary, inside the eatery barbecue. Order pork. Order pork, order pork, Kurama insisted. Naruto sighed in defeat and uttered, pork, lots and lots of pork. All right, it looks like there's a lot of pork, Shikamaru teased. Naruto said, I'm really hungry. How's Yamanaka.san? I haven't seen her in a long time. Shikamaru muttered, she's feeling better after finding out, she was the most active, and she just proclaimed herself as team leader, troublesome woman. Choji simply laughed. Kiba teased, how are the Uchiha and the Banshee doing? Haruno.san worships me and Uchiha.san hates me, Naruto sighed. I feel sorry for you, dude. You have a lot of girls who want to date you. Kiba teased once more. I only need one, Naruto smirked as he turned to face Hinata. Hinata blushed at his staring and turned to Shikamaru, who looked down at her and saw that she had puppy eyes. He muttered a, troublesome, and shifted the topic. After a while, Konohamaru concluded, and then Chan told me that Naruto.ni was a super prodigy, as smart as the 4th, and that Aniki will be able to surpass even himself. That's accurate, Kiba stated. Shino remarked, I couldn't agree more. Why? Because Naruto is as intelligent as the 4th was at his age. Hinata stammered, Naruto.kun is amazingly smart for a b.boy our age. If he doesn't die first, he'll become a great Hokage, Shikamaru retorted. Choji muttered, exactly. I don't think he'll die before becoming Hokage through Shikamaru. Naruto muttered, flushed, guys, you're embarrassing me. Following a barbecue, Naruto said, come on, Oto-Chan, I'll take you home. On the way to Konohamaru's house, Konohamaru excitedly jumped over to the Prodigy and walked alongside him, chatting. Hi Aniki. See ya, Aniki, Konohamaru said as he started to head to his house but was stopped by a murderous intent. You, Naruto corrected, see you. After swallowing, Konohamaru hurried in and said, see you, Aniki. I should be meaner to people, Naruto said with a slight smile, but apparently they do as you say when you're being all mean. And you wonder why I'm mean to you, stupid brat. And I still wonder if you have ever said anything nice to a person, said a dark voice. Nope, I called the sage of the 6 paths for an old man. I think he hates being called that. Tell me about the other bijus. Are they friendly? Kurama sighed. Biwahahaha. Good one brat. We all chose the wrong path. The paths the old man told us not to follow. The path of hatred. Just because you're big, animal, and have more than one tail, doesn't mean that we're demons. We have souls. Kurama complained, while Naruto simply laughed. They've been on 7D ranks and one long Circa rank for a month now, and when they first met the old man they had to protect on the Circa rank, he didn't even think they were ninjas. Naturally, Naruto proved a point when he confronted the demon brothers. Demon illusion. No jutsu flashback. They all stared at him like he was crazy as Team 7 walked down the path, surrounded by the threes. Naruto tensed at the awkward silence and said, have you ever heard of an Onba? It's supposed to be a mythical creature, to break the awkward silence. Just trying to come up with a conversation, the blonde boy explained. Naruto felt as though he was being watched as they passed a puddle. Sensei? His sensei asked, giving him a look that said, I don't know everything you do in. Don't. Naruto stared at him for a long time before saying, okay. He then looked down at the ground he was walking on, saying, Hinata-san. His pink-haired teammate screamed, Kakashi, sensei. Naruto turned to face the 2 Kiri ninjas and exclaimed, great, just our luck. He threw himself into the air, collecting the leaves into tiny balls and using wind chakra to make them stronger. Wind style. Leaf cannon. He yelled, directing his hand with all fingers pointing at the Kiri ninjas, which caused them to strike their gauntlets and injure the legs of the one with 2 horns on his Hite.8. Maizu! Yelled the one with only 1 horn. After the ball struck his legs, the newly dubbed Maizu was on the ground in agony. Gozu, finish the job, Maizu cried, and he held onto his injured legs to stand up again, but this time he was unable to move very well. The newly dubbed Gozu went after the bridge builder, but was stopped by the amazing and awesome Kakashi, who stood in his I.am. Awesome. Stance and eyed Sakura, Naruto, and Sasuke. Good job, Naruto, Kakashi commended. Naruto, have you been holding back? Kakashi asked the now red-faced preteen as the 2 brothers were soon bound to a tree. Anyo. Yes, Naruto stammered, still flushed. Good job, Naruto. Naruto now grinned. Thank you Hitaki, sensei. Sakura looked at the grinning boy with hearts in her eyes as Sasuke glared at Naruto. Illusion demon. Kai. Naruto heard a scream as he was making his way home from training. 5 minutes earlier, Sakura was walking home from training with Sasuke, and Sasuke had been brooding all day. They stopped when they saw a box in the middle of the path. That's a idiotic disguise, Sasuke muttered, and the box exploded when he heard it. What do you mean idiotic disguise? The brown-haired boy yelled, asking Sasuke. You answered brat. The 2 other children there were Konohamaru and his friends Udon and Moegi. What you duck butt hair? Who do you think you are? My knee. San looks better than that and he's blonde, contended Konohamaru. Oh, kya, Konohamaru yelled, running as fast as he could, not even looking where he ran, and naturally, he ran into a guy dressed as a cat. Suddenly, the air dropped by 100 degrees, and it wasn't Sasuke who was cooling down. You little brat. Look where you're running. The cat cosplayer frowned and grabbed Konohamaru by his shirt in a menacing manner. San. Where are you? It's now I need you. Konohamaru screamed in terror. Kankuro, stop it, he said we shouldn't do anything stupid. The sand blonde girl addressed the cat cosplayer, or the newly adopted Kankuro. Tamari, he's not here, is he? Kankuro pointed out. The poor boy Konohamaru was saved by a powerful wind that was accompanied by leaves. The leaves teleported a man who was standing with his arms folded, his eyes narrowed and squinted like a deep blue sapphire, his blonde hair and blue hoodie blowing in the wind. Let the kid go. His voice sounded both dangerous and gentle at the same time. It would be best not to ask how it sounded gentle. Ni-san. Konohamaru exhaled a sigh of relief. Kankuro remorsefully said, "Who's the show? Off. Dude, if you think you can scare me away with that little killer intent, get back in line, I've tried worse." He could see his life vanishing one by one until he let go of the child, but he regretted his words when the key became even more deadly than before. "OUF. Konohamaru moaned. Ni-san, you came to save me, Naruto." Ni. He arrived with anime waterfall tears. Of course, Oto. Chan. That's what I'm here for. Also, Naruto said, starting to look up at the ninjas in front of him. You're guests in this village, and if you don't behave, I won't hesitate to kill you. Naruto then lowered himself to his height and looked down at Konohamaru, nodding. Naruto eyed his arms and said, "Good to hear. You got bandages, since last I saw you." Konohamaru looked at his hands and grinned broadly, saying, "Yes, I want to be like you." He glanced at Sasuke and Sakura and said, "Hey, what about you? Me and your two friends go out to buy us some fingerless gloves, nay, Oto. Chan?" When he noticed that Moegi and Udon were wearing the same bandages, he said, "Well, I use these bandages to cover up the wounds I get from training. I don't want them to get infected." Naruto then suggested, grinning at the grandson of the Hokage. "Alright, after we play ninja," Naruto said, patting Konohamaru's head. "Sweet, you're the best, Ni-san. But after we play ninja, you promised we'll play ninja together." Konohamaru's puppy dog eyes made him laugh. Looking at the blonde incredulously, Sasuke questioned, "What kind of ninja plays ninja?" Naruto responded bluntly, "The kind ones." After removing the object from his back, Kankuro muttered, "I feel left out. Maybe I should kill them and get it over with." "Kankuro, stop it, you're an embarrassment to our village." "A reed," haired boy from the trees said, then teleported through the sand to the ground. "Gee. Gaara," Kankuro stammered. Naruto and Sasuke thought, "I didn't even sense him." Then, suddenly, Naruto felt a pain in his stomach. "Shukaku," Kurama explained. Naruto's eyes widened as he looked at Gaara's, who also widened his eyes. "One-tailed raccoon." Shukaku's voice echoed in Naruto's and Gaara's heads. "Kurama, Yahoo!" Kurama said. "Shukaku, weakling, how are you? Who are you calling a weakling? This is why I hate you." Kurama had always thought that a Bijuu's tail count indicated its strength. Kurama.ni. "Are you fighting in my mind? Who are you?" Gaara's voice interrupted Naruto's mind. "Uzumaki Naruto, who are you?" Naruto replied. "Sabaku no Gaara. Get out of my mind. Kurama, break contact now." But, Kurama was interrupted. "No buts, now." Naruto turned back to depart. Naruto cautioned, "Konohamaru, Moegi, Udon. The Chuunin exams are here, be careful." He had previously met Moegi and Udon with Konohamaru, just before he departed for the wave. Sakura and Sasuke stood there, expressionless. Sakura and Sasuke had been waiting at the bridge with Kakashi for a long time when Naruto finally arrived. "You're late, moron," Sasuke said. "No shit, Sherlock," Naruto responded with a duh face on his face, depressed because he had just met another Jinchuriki and Kurama had been driving him crazy all day. "This is your fault, Kurama.ni, Naruto said. "Well, let's get back to why you came here. I've given you 3 tasks to complete." Kakashi began. Naruto concluded, "The Chuunin exams, big shock." Kakashi joked, "Gee, what got up your ass, Naruto?" Unintellectual, Naruto twitched in frustration and said, "Shut up and give me the application paper thing." He took the paper and left for home. Sakura questioned, "What just happened?" Apparently, tomorrow was the start of the Chuunin exam. Stupid sensei, never giving them the right time. Is Hinata.san going to anticipate? If she does, will she be okay? If not, I'll kill those bastards who hurt her, he thought, sending a huge amount of dark aura. Naruto was tired, and when he was tired, he got angry, depressed, and would do anything to just fall asleep right there on the spot. The following day. "I have to be great. I have to be as great as I was at the Genin exams. Top score. Oh yeah, I am so out of character," Naruto thought as he hurried to the academy for the Chuunin exams, where he was representing Konoha's Rookie 9 as Rookie of the Year. His gaze fell upon some pink and blue Uchiha. San, Haruno. San, he exclaimed as he ran toward them. I apologize for yesterday. I wasn't in the best mood. Sakura proposed. It's okay, Naruto-kun. Let's just get going. Hi. As they entered the building, Naruto sensed something was wrong, but he kept walking to the second floor. Was all he could say when he noticed a group of genins standing in front of a door marked 302. Isn't this only the second floor? He asked his two teammates, who nodded in agreement. You wish to be honored, Uchiha-san? Asked Naruto with a smile. They approached the two individuals watching the door and said, why not? Sasuke said calmly, if you can't see through low-level genjutsu like this, you shouldn't be here taking this exam. A few girls blushed. Well, there weren't many, but Naruto simply waved at them while grinning. Demon illusion. False surroundings no jutsu, am I right? Naruto asked the two guards, who nodded and dispelled the jutsu. All of the genins stared at Team 7 as though they were crazy. The person wearing the bandages inquired, it looks like we have some smart genins this year. However, which of you is the rookie of the year? We saw the other two rookie teams pass by, and none of them were the rookie of the year. Him, Naruto said, pointing to Sasuke, who simply stood there looking dumbfounded. Moron, what are you talking about? Sasuke asked incredulously. In wave, tree climbing exercise, we made a bet, you won, our favorite blonde retorted. Demon illusion. No jutsu flashback, so the training is chakra exercise. You have to climb a tree without using your hands, like this. Kakashi stated bluntly, well, as Naruto probably knows by now, Zabuza is alive, and I have to train you next time we face him. He formed a seal, sending chakra to his feet, and proceeded to the tree, supporting himself against some crutches. He climbed the tree without using his hands, just like that, and at the end he was on top hanging from a tree branch. They couldn't hear Naruto's incoherent mutter as he said, amazing, chakra can be used to other things than just jutsu. Sakura completed the task with ease after Kakashi gave him instructions, and Naruto, who is always courteous, commended her. Now that only Naruto and Sasuke were left in the forest, Naruto felt uncomfortable and decided to help him after glancing at Sasuke. Oi, Sasuke. Sasuke turned to him and asked, want to make a bet? Naruto had now fully captured Sasuke's attention. What sort of wager, idiot? Inquired Sasuke. The first person to complete this exercise wins Rookie of the Year, Naruto said. Deal. Get ready to lose your title as Rookie of the Year, moron. Naruto simply grinned as Sasuke nodded in agreement and grinned his eerie smirk. I actually love it, it makes him look HAAWT. Illusion Demon. Kai, I won that bet, didn't I? Sasuke just remembered. Naruto simply nodded and said, well, let's go. As Naruto stared down at the ground, he began, wait, a lavender-eyed guy yelled, if I recall correctly, the Rookie of the Year was a no-clan, named Uzumaki. No clan? Did the entire Konoha already forget about the Uzumaki clan? He concluded, you're a Uchiha, you can't be Rookie of the Year. I won't call that a no-clan, if I were you, Naruto muttered, raising his voice slightly. To my defense, the Uzumaki clan had their own village. Say that again, and I won't hesitate to kill you. He was now hurling a lot of ki at him, just to frighten the other genins. Uchiha-san, Haruno-san, we're leaving. Naruto overtook them. They were taken aback by that aspect of Naruto, but they eventually caught up. They met Kakashi at the entrance to the first exams. Yo, he said, reading his perverted book, I'm glad you all came. Now get in there. He finished and poofed away. Let's leave, Naruto said as he opened the door. They were initially taken aback by the sheer number of genins from the hidden villages in the room, but what really caught their attention was the gloomy atmosphere that pervaded the space and made Naruto depressed, something he didn't want to happen again. Sasuke. Kun, Naruto. Kun. A booming squeal drew their attention, and Naruto uttered before being thrown to the ground. You can call me Ino, Naruto-kun, she said sexily, one hand on his shoulder and the other running through his jawline. Yamanaka-san. I don't think this is the time to do this, he said. Oh, believe me, he won't, Sakura sighed angrily. Naruto stood up quickly and extended his hand to Ino, who immediately accepted it. Naruto looked around the room and eventually spotted the beauty he was seeking, a midnight blue one, and gave her a gentle smile while she flushed. Oh. Ohio Naruto-kun, the beauty said, waving her hand. What's this? He asked worriedly, grabbing her hand as quickly as the light could. Her hand was scratched, wounded, and covered in marks. Naruto put his free hand in his shuriken holster and pulled out a fresh bandage. He had recently purchased blue gloves that matched his jacket and were matching to Konohamaru, Moegi, and Udon. Hinata-san, you shouldn't train that hard if you don't wrap it up, he said, wrapping her two hands in bandages. She scowled and flushed as she watched her hand being bandaged. There, all done, he said, his tone still tinged with concern. Kiba-san, Shino-san, we guys have to talk, he insisted. At the sight, Sasuke reflected on the battle with Haku and what had transpired in Wave. Sasuke POV Demon Illusion, no jutsu flashback. I whispered, Naruto. He was coughing up blood as he looked at me, his body full of senbons. Sasuke, I said, coughed, I have a last request. He coughed again. A last request, what? Tell Hina. Chan. His voice started to die slowly. Hina. Chan. Hinata. Tell Hina. Chan, I love her. My eyes widened. I couldn't say that I didn't know, I just didn't know that it was so serious. My eyes softened as his closed. I will honor your request, Naruto. Illusion Demon. Kai. Typical POV is silver. Haired man made his glasses unique and said, hey, keep it down here, can't you sense the tension in the room? They're all after the rookies, and you all just showed them who you are. Now you just put yourself in danger, anyway, because I am so nice, I'll share a little information with you. He pulled out a bunch of cards and went to the ground. Any requests? He inquired. Before Naruto spoke, the rookies exchanged glances. Sabaku no Gaara of Suna. You know his name, no fun. He said, my name is Yakushi Kabuto, by the way. Okay. To Sabaku no Gaara, he's your age, mission status, circa rank 8, B. Rank 1, wow, a B. Rank mission as a genin. Amazing. He had returned from all the missions unscratched, that's really something. The rest of the villages are large, hidden villages, but Otto is more of a minor one, so I wouldn't know anything about it. Remember now, from all the villages, they have only elites here, Kabuto concluded. When Naruto felt a sudden spike in his chakra, he turned to see 3 Otto nins on their way to Kabuto. The room was startled when they heard glass break, by leaves coming through the windows, and the Otto nins stopped in their tracks to look behind Naruto. You have to behave until the exams start, Naruto said in a dangerous whisper while glaring at the 3 Otto nins. The fox was not Kurama with 9 tails. As the leaves vanished, they retreated gracefully and easily. Thank you, said Kabuto. That's an interesting ability, and you are? Naruto grinned as he looked up at him. Uzumaki Naruto. After drawing a card from the deck, Kabuto said, the Rookie of the Year. I think I have some information about you. Uzumaki Naruto, mission status, D. Rank 7, circa rank 1, an interesting fact, circa rank mission turned out to be an A. Rank, as you faced Momochi, one of the legendary 7 swordsmen, and the Demon Brothers. So technically, you've completed an A. Rank mission. You seem strong, am I correct? A loud voice said, okay, shut up you maggots. I'm Morino Ibiki, and I'll be your first exam proctor. The Chuunin exam starts here, as Naruto continued to stare at him. Thanks for waiting. Ibiki glanced at the broken windows and asked, and who broke the windows? All of the genins in the room were now staring at one particular blonde, who was none other than Uzumaki Naruto. He blushed and turned to face Ibiki, who said, I swear, it was an accident Morino-san. Ibiki looked at him suspiciously. And the leaves? Ibiki asked, raising an eyebrow in suspicion. The wind. Naruto lied with a sheepish smile. Well, it wasn't totally a lie. He did use wind chakra to control the leaves. Ibiki simply shrugged it off and went on. Damn Uzumaki, just like his mother, always coming with stupid excuses, although he do look like his father. Ibiki thought. The genins took a number and went to their seats. Everyone, pick a number and sit down. Now, for this first test, you'll have a written test, but, in this written test there are rules you'll have to keep. Ibiki began. Rule number 1 states that the test taker starts with a perfect score of 10 points. The test consists of 10 questions, and 1 point is subtracted from the initial total of every question answered incorrectly. Rule number 2 states that the test is a team event, meaning that passing is determined by combining each team's total score. Everyone in the room moaned at this point. Rule number 3 states that those caught cheating will lose 2 points for each offense. Rule number 4 states that those who lose all of their exam points through cheating, and those who fail to answer any questions correctly will fail along with their teammate. You have 1 hour, and in 45 minutes the 10th question will be revealed. Now, start, Ibiki screamed. These questions seem difficult. Well, for those who aren't geniuses, Ayame. Nay. Chan told me not to brag, Naruto. Damn it. Naruto thought. Anyway, why would we lose points if we cheat? Why not just send us out the door? Naruto's eyes widened. Hee, sneaky Morino.san. Sneaky, but I don't need to cheat. Naruto concluded his thoughts and started writing down the answers to the first question as if it were a cryptogram. How the hell is the half of this room supposed to answer this? Kit, shut up and write, damn it, and let me sleep, Kurama grumbled. Sasuke assumed this was a challenge and thought, this is going to be interesting. Who will get the most points in this one, Naruto? Sharingan. The Sharingan activated, copying the one in front of him. I am extremely fortunate to have 2 guineas on my team. We will never lose. Shanaru. This is fantastic. Sakura and inner Sakura let out a mental squeal. Hinata's eyes sharpened, and she imitated the man behind her. Naruto.kun. I wish I was as smart as you. Buakugan. Hinata's veins were now visible, with chakra flowing through them. Troublesome, the lazy genius thought, writing down the answers as if they were unimportant. Ino probably thinks I can't do this, damn pig. He laughed to himself. With a determined thought, Ino thought, and then Naruto. Kun and Sasuke. Kun will want me as their teammate. She used the mind transfer jutsu to take over Sakura's mind. I'm going to take this test down as if it were nothing. Just wait, Sakura, your big forehead is finally coming into use. I don't like this test. The examiner is too scary. Look at all those scars, Shoji thought. I just know that Ino will come with the answers any minute. Looking at his dog, who was perched atop his head, Kiba thought, well, I've got Akamaru. I don't need anything else but him. Got anything yet, Akamaru? Kiba whispered to him, and Akamaru barked the response to the first question. Shino simply wrote down the answers while remaining silent both inside and outside of his head. Sitting behind him, Neji thought, that Uzumaki boy. I wonder why he said the Uchiha is the rookie of the year. Let's see what he's made of. He turned on his Byakugan and glanced at Naruto's test, which I finished in just 15 minutes. He growled inaudibly. Tenten made it in Morse code with some mirrors while thinking, Lee adjusts your headband if you see the other boy's test. She stopped moving the mirrors when she saw him adjust, and Lee wrote down the answers. Lee thought foolishly, thanks Tenten, may the flames of youth always shine brightly. Everyone, put down your pencils and listen. Ibiki shouted to them after 45 minutes had passed. The 10th question. The Genins awoke and turned to face Ibiki gravely. But first, we'll have to go through some rules. There were groans throughout the room. First, for this question, you must choose whether you want to take it or not. Asand Kunoichi questioned, choose? What happens if we choose not to? You fail with your teammates, and your points will be lowered to 0 if you decide not to. What does that mean? Of course we'll choose to take it. That doesn't make any sense, started a raucous protest. Ibiki shouted, silence, now for the other rule. With all the rules that must exist, Sakura thought, another? Give it a break, damn it. Naruto smirked as he thought, he's playing mind games. Now I remember him, it's the head of T&I torture and interrogations. That person will lose all rights to take the Chuunin exam again if they decide to take it and answer incorrectly, Ibiki screamed, grinning evilly at the Genins. Academy somewhere else. 3 Chuunin senseis, Kakashi, Kurenai, and Asuma, were seated in that room. Well, it sure is boring without my team, the missions will have to wait, said Kakashi, sounding extremely bored. Asuma assured them, don't worry, you'll be busy again soon. Why is that? I've heard that Morino Ibiki will be administering the first test. Kakashi grumbled, not that sadist. It will be hard for them to pass the first test, with or without Naruto. Sadist? Kurenai inquired, joining in the discussion. Asuma began by saying, Kurenai, you're a new Chuunin so you probably don't know. Who is he? A pro. Of what? Kurenai started to ask questions. Asuma concluded by saying, lead assassination squads, torture and interrogation captain, special Chuunin, Morino Ibiki. Room 302 of the academy. There are people in this room who have taken the exam more than once, so Kiba screamed in protest, what kind of stupid rule is that? As Ibiki smirked evilly, he said, well, you guys are just unlucky that way. This year, it's my rules. But I am giving you a way out, those who aren't confident enough, can choose to walk out that door and come back next time. The Genins were now debating whether or not to accept the 10th question. Those who wish to not accept it raise your hand and once your number is confirmed, take your teammates and leave. Ibiki concluded his gaze on the anxious genins. Why, I see now. Naruto finally finished considering this, and a lot of genins fled. Sneaky Morino.san, Naruto muttered, but Ibiki caught him. As the genins were now whispering to one another, Ibiki grinned and said, Say something, brat, I'm sneaky. Why, thank you. I guess it is true what the Hokage said, you're as smart as the fourth Hokage. I guess you found out and would like to explain it? Naruto nodded. On a mission, you'll have to take the danger coming. To get the information you need, you'll have to risk it. Can you choose not to take the danger? No, you can't. On a mission, the danger comes unexpectedly, so we can't choose it. Those who abandon a mission are called trash, and at the same time if you abandon a mission, you abandon your comrades. And those who abandon their comrades are worse than trash. Am I right? Naruto began to look up at Ibiki. The genins gaped as Ibiki grinned and said, I would be lying if I said it wasn't. Good geek, you found out pretty fast too. I'll have to pass 78 people, meaning 26 teams. And those 26 teams are here in this room. You all pass. WHO is that kid? What did that brat say? Inquired an older genin in her 20s. The kid, as you put it, is a prodigy of this village, one that should have passed earlier than the others but refused, Ibiki said, glaring at him for a long time before continuing. The brat told you all that the 10th question is whether to take it or not. Take it and you've answered correctly, don't and you've failed. With a slight downward glance, Naruto said, Can we not talk about me? That's my job, Uzumaki, and I won't put up with the tacky shinobis calling you a brat, Ibiki defended. Okay. You maggots. I'm the second examiner, Midarashi Anko. You've all passed I see, now let's go. She yelled, causing all of the genins to perspire. A black ball then appeared through the window, followed by a sign that read, Second examiner, Midarashi Anko. Huh? 26 teams. What is this? A nursery interrogation, Ibiki? Anko questioned, glancing at Ibiki, who was standing there looking irritated. He sighed and said, They're a good bunch this year. Don't expect too much in your test too. Sense the tension, will you, Anko? Anko grinned smugly and said, Huh? My test will cut them down to half. Slash the forest of dead on training ground 44. Anko grinned evilly as he said, Welcome to my playground, maggots. The forest of death. The training ground was a massive forest with larger than normal trees, a fence around it, and a sign that read, Danger, stay out. As all the genins stared at him, Naruto said bluntly, Been there. What, it was a dare thanks to my lovely friend Kiba. I was 9. He grinned foxily. She grinned and said, Now, before we begin the second test, there is something I have to pass out. Uzumaki, I like you, you don't seem afraid of the forest. Be a good little boy and pass these out, will ya? Will you? Naruto informed him. Shut up, maggot. As he distributed the agreements, Naruto muttered, Why do they all call me a maggot? With a sickly sweet voice, Anko said, Now. Signs those agreements, we don't want little Omi taking the responsibility for your deaths, right? Once more, Naruto growled and muttered, Speak for yourself. Shut up, Uzumaki. Let me explain the area. There are 44 locked gates at training ground number 44, and there is a forest, a river, and a tower in the middle. It's about 10 kilometers from the gates to the tower, and during the survival phase, you will engage in a no-rules scroll battle. Scrolls? Inquired Ataki.nin. Yes. Anko pulled out 2 scrolls and showed them. You will compete over these 2 scrolls, the Earth and Heaven scrolls. She briefly closed her eyes before opening them again. There are 78 people here, meaning 26 teams. Half of you, meaning 13 teams, get a Heaven scroll, while the other half get an Earth. To pass this test, she said, holding the Heaven and Earth scrolls in front of them and narrowing her eyes. You must make it to the tower with both scrolls. Sakura declared, 13 teams will lose their scrolls. Half of them will definitely fail. Then, 2 loud voices interrupted Anko, saying, But, there is a time limit. This test will last 120 hours. Exactly 5 days. 5 days, shouted Ino. What about food? Cried Choji. You're on your own. The forest is full of food. Just watch out for man. Eating beasts, poisonous insects, and poisonous plants. And 13 teams passing is not likely. As the days pass, the distance to the goal will get farther, and the time to rest will get shorter. And the area is crawling with enemies. You won't get much sleep. So not only will some people fail because of the scrolls, but some will also die from the harshness of the course. Anko closed her eyes in frustration after saying this. She put both hands on her hips and went on, as a rule, there is no quitting in the middle. You'll be in the forest for 5 days. And one more rule, you must not look inside the scrolls until you come to the tower. First, those who don't make it to the tower, with both scrolls within the time limit, she said, holding out one finger. Second, those who lose a teammate or have a teammate killed. What would happen if you did? Inquired Naruto. She looked up to them and said, that'll be a secret for anyone who does. In her sickly sweet voice, she responded, a Chuunin will be asked to handle classified information. This is to test your trustworthiness. That is for the explanation. Exchange your 3 agreements for a scroll, then choose a gate for the start. One last piece of advice. While all the Genins were filling out their agreements, Naruto started his own when he saw Hinata. Hinata.san, he called, causing her to turn to face him, and, N. Naruto.kun, she said. Right. She muttered, ducking into her shuriken holster. Here, for safety. She clarified, offering him some bandage. When she nodded, Naruto said, you made this. Thanks, Hinata.san. He then grabbed her by the wrist, pulled her in, and kissed her cheek. Hinata blushed profusely, and to Naruto's surprise, notice the irony, she passed out. Hinata.san. Naruto's eyes widened, and he exclaimed, Hina-chan. Oi, Naruto. What did you do to her? Kiba glared at Naruto with a growl. She fainted when Naruto blushed, unable to finish the sentence. Shino clarified, it's okay. Why? We'll take her from here. Why? Because she's our teammate. Naruto stared at them anxiously, wondering if she would be alright. That was all he could think about at the moment. At the entrance, Kiba, Shino, and Hinata are at gate 16. Kiba yelled, Yahoo survival is our specialty. Hinata don't go soft on us. Shikamaru, Choji, and Ino are at gate 27. Let's go after team 10. Risking our lives, this sucks, but we'll have to do it, Shikamaru remarked. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura are at gate 12. Naruto grinned and said, let's start out slowly. Gate 20. The trio of sounds. The person wearing bandages exclaimed, it's finally here. The chance to fulfill our mission. Kabuto's team, gate 38. The 3 of them were silent, and Kabuto just stood there grinning. San's siblings are in gate 6. Kankuro looked at Gaara and thought, of course the other teams, but I'm also afraid of being with him for 5 days. Mysterious Kusa. Nin's at gate 15. One of them stated, so we'll go after the rookies first. It makes things easier, we can kill from here, said another. Gate 41. Lee, Tenten, and Neji. Guy. Sensei, I'll try my hardest, Lee thought resolutely. Alongside Anko. Follow the instructor and proceed to your gates, everyone. The second exam will start in 30 minutes, Anko commanded. After half an hour, she shouted, the second test of the Chuunin exams, now beings, as the Genins all slammed their gates open and got started. Gate 12. All right, let's go, shouted Naruto. Exited moron? Inquired Sasuke. You bet. This is a great chance to test out skills as well. Me. Completed. Yes. Where's the extra, Naruto? Me. I'll be the first to announce it. I'm a. Insert dramatic drumming. Sasuke. It's not that difficult to see her, she's a damn girl. Me. Uchiha, damn you. Come with the extra, Sasuke. Me. I'm sorry for being late, but this extra is Konoha 3 years after the Pain invasion. 3 years from now, following the invasion of Pain. Welcome back, Naruto, you are a hero. We had faith in you, Naruto. Hello home. Thank you. When their hero, our favorite blonde, returned home after defeating Pain, the entire village, including civilians and shinobi, greeted him with wide eyes. His long red cape with black flames at the edge was still in place and blowing in the wind as he stood on Kakashi's back. Beneath his cape, he was wearing a typical Chuunin uniform, and the fingerless gloves he had purchased with Konohamaru, Moegi, and Udon were still on. He thought, Hina-chan, and his eyes widened once more. Hitaki. Sensei. Where is she? Is she okay? He asked in a tired voice. Is Hinata.san okay? He closed his eyes, but opened them again when he heard footsteps approaching, and he smiled faintly. I'm glad you're okay, Haruno.san. Where is she? He asked quickly and directly. Sakura assured him, gesturing toward Team 8, she's okay, she's with Kiba and Shino, over there. The thing that hurts the most is that she was crying. Hina-chan, he whispered as he walked toward her. Naruto looked at them, his eyes widening at Hinata. He couldn't tell if she was crying out of joy or sorrow. Hinata said, N. Naruto.kun, are you alright? Team 8 was waiting for their so-called hero to respond when they saw that he was simply staring at her. Hina-chan, he said in a voice that sounded as though he was shocked. Konoha 12 thought, he's finally going to tell her, but they were disappointed when he went on, saying, you look hurt. Why are you crying? Where does it hurt? You hungry? You thirsty? You are so pale. Why are you red in the face? Oh my Kami. You've catched a cold, as they all began to perspire. Hinata stammered, N. Naruto.kun, I'm fine, but Naruto interrupted, saying, nonsense. You are up against pain. You're not fine. Damn, you look so. He stopped himself from continuing and gathered her in a tight embrace, concluding, huggable. With her head resting on his chest and their bodies as close as possible, he kept her warm with a hand on her back and in her hair. As Hinata closed her eyes, she thought, Naruto.kun, I wish you would just stop worrying. She wanted to freeze this moment in time. You stupid dipshit. You can't do anything right, Naruto reprimanded himself in his head. The entire village continued to celebrate the existence of Konohas and Naruto as the hero, while Konoha 12 was staring at the two and perspiring. 10 minutes had passed and none of them had moved. I just know he's raping her again, Kiba cried. Calm down, Kiba. They're probably just thinking about their honeymoon. Why? They're acting like perverts about it too. See how desperately Naruto is trying to contain his blood, Shino said. Sakura-san, you are as beautiful as 1,000 angels signing. Be my girlfriend. Lee cried. Yosh. The youth shines brighter in them than anyone else. Again, Lee, no, Sakura's perspiration fell. Sasuke thought, congrats, Naruto. You'll make a great Hokage. N. Didn't see that coming RIIGHT? Hina-chan, you sure you're okay? You still look pale, exclaimed Naruto, cupping her two cheeks with his two palms. Kami-sama, help her. Konoha 12 once again broke away as he and Hinata simply stared at each other. I love you too. Can it be so hard to say? Damn, you're weak, Naruto, you're weak. Sasuke could do it, I'm weak. Naruto whimpered in his mind. Hinata-san looks all beaten up, all for me? Damn, she can be scary. His head was inches from hers, and he was still leaning in. Hinata blushed 1,000 red as she saw him still leaning in, her hands on his wrists. Finally, after 10 minutes, damn it, their friends finally got to share a kiss. Naruto felt like he was in 7th heaven as he closed his eyes and drew her nearer. Naruto's point of view, I'm kissing her. Kurama.ni. In your face, I'm awesome. I did it, now you just have to confess. Kurama.ni chose to ruin my moment of awesomeness. I was a foot taller than her, so I guess I was able to feel her blush deeper. I blocked out everyone else and concentrated only on the girl I was kissing, the girl of my dream, the girl of my past, present, and hopefully future. There was a shiver, but it was a pleasant one, and I enjoyed it. POV Hinata's Okami. Naruto.kun is kissing me. I can feel his lips. He smells like worms. What did he eat? Oh, well, toads eat bugs. That's gross. I'm not sure what to do. Just make sure you don't faint, Hinata. We looked at each other for a long time before Naruto.kun opened his mouth to say something. Kami-sama, don't let it be. You sure you're okay? It's so annoying. I felt my legs give way to the kiss and nearly fell backwards, separating us from the kiss. Typical POV. Kiba snarled. Well, they've been at it for what, 5 minutes? Do they have gills or something? Nay, Kiba. Remember the Chuunin exams? This isn't the first time for them, Sakura reminded Konoha 12. She fainted, so I stopped to fight and kissed her. What a fool. He acted out of love, Kiba. Anyway, Neji interrupted. Remember, Sakura, Tenten, we have a mission. After saying, Shino, Lee, we have Danzo to find, Sasuke left them with the two individuals in question. Yo, Naruto, you're being summoned by the council. Those old hags, Kakashi informed, interrupting Naruto as he opened his mouth to say something. Naruto stood up straight with Hinata, nodded to Kakashi, and waved goodbye to his friends, but before he left, he whispered something in her ear that caused her eyes to widen, her face to blush greatly, her mouth to gape, and her hands to shake with delight. I also love you. Asuma, Kurenai, and Kakashi were sitting in a room, utterly bored. Kakashi muttered, I thought they had the sadist as their first examiner, but Kurenai and Asuma caught him. They did. Asuma answered, I suppose we've underestimated our own students. Kurenai glanced at the two elderly Junins. Asuma, Kakashi, this implies that they will now be in the forest of death, correct? The men gave a nod. They tensed up when they heard that Anko was their examiner. Bad children, Kakashi muttered. The opposite side of Konoha. Sasuke was discussing plans while Sakura listened to his voice as Naruto tried to kill a bug on his nose with a glare. Are you able to pay attention? Sasuke cried out. How about we just use a password? Like one of Hitaki Sensei's flimsy justifications for being late. Naruto stated bluntly, surely no one but us knows Hitaki Sensei better. Sakura and Sasuke gazed at the blonde. With a sigh, Sasuke concurred. So, if I'm correct, which I usually am, this test was connected to Ibiki's test. Before attacking, we must determine what the other team's scroll is. I propose that we divide up and get together here in 30 minutes. Depending on their abilities, we will attack the team with the right scroll. To determine whether they are weak enough for us to defeat quickly or strong enough for us to take them seriously, we will need to spend 30 minutes with them. Roger? Naruto gave the order. Roger, said Sakura and Sasuke together before the three parted ways. Alongside Naruto, Gaara was being spied on by Naruto. Naruto had been watching him for a long time, to be honest. He wanted to know more about him. That guard. Is it composed of sand? Trying not to lose his temper, Naruto asked himself this question in his head. He got the creeps from that Gaara guy. Gaara muttered slowly, Uzumaki, Naruto, which caused Naruto's eyes to widen. Step forward, Uzumaki. Naruto followed instructions and took a step forward. Gaara gave him a bored look as he looked at him. Without your team, do you have a specific reason for spying on us? Or are you merely hoping to die? Gaara closed his eyes, and his two siblings stood behind him, half shocked by what they saw. I assumed you would be more intelligent than Sabaku-san. Naruto took a deep breath and let it out. I'm here to gather information, not to playtime. He looked directly into Suna. Nin's red hair. You don't know what I have, and I don't know what you have yet. However, based on what I've observed, it appears that you don't care. There were 3 aim. Nin's bodies and blood all over the place. Those poor people. Sand was on the blood. Naruto already knew how to control sand, but he was unaware that his heart was so cold or that his guard was made of it. Naruto felt sorry for those who shared his home. The boy's reckless killing of people whenever he had the chance and his candid conversations with his inner demon made him appear insane. There was a slight breeze that caused Gaara's hair to move slightly and Naruto's hair to move in front of his face. It was the beginning of their fight. Naruto and Gaara thought the same thing. While Leaves did the same to Naruto, Sand emerged from his guard and stood behind him. They shouted out and waved their hands for their weapon to attack. Sand, Leaf, Corfin, together, they both let out a shriek. Alongside Sakura. Sakura was observing Team 8 in silence, not even noticing that they were all 3 sensory types. Kiba broke the awkward silence by saying, Guys, a rookie is watching us. Kiba, tell us something we don't know, Shino said icily. S. Sakura.san. Hinata stumbled, W. We know you're here, just circa come out. Sakura emerged from hiding and walked over to the group. Hey, after a lengthy and uncomfortable silence, how are you all doing? Recently kicked some ass. She yelled, oh. Crap. I'm busted. Just pretend. You don't know anything, as she cheerfully pushed out. Stop the nonsense. How are our 2 handsome boys doing? They must be dead because they're not with you, Kiba said bluntly. Don't be like that, Kiba.kun. I'm sure Sakura.san H. had a good reason for spying on us. Hinata turned to face Sakura, but all she saw was guilt, lies, and awkwardness. Hinata let out a sigh. Sakura stumbled back. Well, I better get going. Good luck with your stuff, and withdrew, leaving Team 8 to wonder what in the world Team 7 was doing. Hinata closed her eyes in prayer and thought, Naruto.kun, I hope you're okay. Alongside Sasuke, one of the Kusa, Nins, who had black hair and a straw hat, was speaking openly while Sasuke was currently gathering information from them. He had a girlish, eerie voice. Sasuke was unaware that the Kusa Nins wanted him to pay attention when the black-haired one declared, I shall carry our Earth Scroll. Sasuke kept an eye on all of their movements, not letting one go unnoticed. On the wave mission, he turned on his Sharingan. He didn't understand the meaning of those feelings that day, but he knew they were strengthening him, and it was only 10 seconds after Naruto's final words. The one wearing the mask said, let's get started, we'll need to find one with the Heaven Scroll. Team 10. This is really bothersome, Gar. How did Asuma Sensei persuade us to do this? Shikamaru grumbled. As he munched on some chips, Shoji corrected, "No, how did Ino talk us into this?" Collision. When the three of them heard that clash, they turned to see where the sound was coming from, but instead they saw sand and leaves raining down. Huh? As Ino gaped in surprise, Shikamaru asked. "It's the leaf technique of Naruto. Kuns. We have to stalk him, help him," she squealed as innocently as she could. The words, "damn troublesome comrades," were muttered by Shikamaru. Alongside Naruto, there was a tremendous clash as the sand and leaves collided. As Naruto stood up after being blasted out of the fight, he thought, "I didn't think it would be so strong. Kid, don't underestimate him." "Yes, that sand is stronger, but your will is the strongest," Kurama cried. That was quite a speech, Kurama.ni. He then leapt to his feet and started going through a few hand seals. "I'm touched," he shouted, "seal," and slammed his hand to the ground. A group of seals emerged from Naruto's hand, swallowing half of the sand that was on the ground. "What?" As his eyes shifted from Naruto to the spot where his sand was, Gaara pondered, "How did you alter my sand?" He gave the poor blonde a glare that was full of murderous intent. "I sealed it," sighed Naruto. "Seal, did you not hear me?" "I heard you, but I have one more question. How can you be around those people if you're like me?" Gaara spoke, his blue eyes never leaving them. "I'm not like you. The only people in my village who despise me are the civilians. The shinobis perceive me as the vessel, the prison, the host, and the Jinchuriki, not as the demon, as some have so eloquently described me. Those are not my enemies. They are my friends." "I'm their friend," Naruto clarified, grinning subtly. Suddenly there was a long pause. "Leave," Gaara stated bluntly. What?" Naruto cried in confusion. "I don't intend to argue with you. Go now before I decide otherwise." Naruto gave him a smile before vanishing in a whirlpool of foliage. Alongside Sasuke and Sakura, the two had just returned from their brief mission to gather information. "I discovered a group that had the Earth Scroll, and they were conversing openly. I believe we could defeat them," Sasuke said, and Sakura gave him her most solemn expression. Team 8 was the only team I could locate. The only information Sakura actually obtained and chose to share was that, apparently they have it under control and they're heading to the tower right now. "Gosh, they're in front of us." The two contestants were startled by a shuffle of sound coming from the bushes and pulled out their kunais for protection. "Whoa, folks. Calm down." A blonde man grinned and said, "I got lost on the road of life, when I helped an old lady across the street." "Don't scare us like that, Naruto. Why are you late?" Sasuke cried out. "Is Big Bad Uchiha afraid?" Naruto grinned. "I got sucked into a fight." "A brawl? You were only meant to collect information, not engage in combat, moron." But he initiated it. "The fact that the Suna team had both scrolls makes me think that there are strong people here who already possess their scrolls." Naruto retorted, "We must go to the tower area and wait for some weak teams. I've already located that Iri Kusa team, who have the Earth Scroll. A mile north of here they are." That might have been a better idea, but after Sasuke finished speaking, Naruto simply turned to Sakura. "They should be at least weaker than us because they were talking openly and didn't sense my presence." "I met Team 8, she said plainly. "Really? I should have headed your way, damn it. How are they?" "What's better, Hinata.san? Does she have a scratch? WHO performed it? There's no point in waiting. I'm going to kill them and let them die slowly." Naruto blurted out, sending out a dark aura as he cracked his knuckles. "Well, they're all right, they have both scrolls, and they're headed to the tower. Why are you so concerned anyway?" Sakura asked in confusion. He stammered in defense, oh, look at the time, let's go find that Kusa team." From the top, a dark yet light voice said, "Too late, little rookies." Right there, staring down at them, was the girly dot man from the Kusa team. As he gripped his straw hat, a gust of wind caused his hair to fly to the back. After going through a few hand seals, the Kusa.nin bit his thumb, causing some blood to spill out. He shouted, summoning jutsu, and crossed it out on a seal on his left wrist. A massive snake appeared as he screamed. Sakura, Sasuke, and Naruto quickly assumed their battle positions. As the leader that he was, Naruto demanded, "Uchiha.san, Haruno.san, I'll take snake bastard, you'll take the snake." "I apologize, Naruto.kun, but I would like to fight Uchiha Sasuke.kun." The girly dot man licked his lips and let his tongue slip out. "You listen to him, idiot. If a look could kill, you know," Sasuke glared at the Kusa.nin. "I'll fight him, you two take the snake." Yeah, but I should be the leader. You were the leader, but WHO told you that? Hitaki. Sensei. Was Naruto's direct response. Gar. Man, damn you. Why would he put you in charge? How about we just fight? With a wave of his hand, Naruto gathered a great deal of leaves. Haruno-san, I'll handle this one, you'll be my backup. Sakura nodded in immediate agreement. He channeled some wind energy through the foliage. Cannon of leaf. Wind style. As the leaves gathered into tiny but powerful balls, Naruto screamed and charged at the snake. It was easy for Naruto to drop his perspiration. Hello, Uchiha-san? I finished. Need assistance? When he called out, he saw that Sasuke had left. Sasuke-kun, Uchiha-san. Since they were unable to locate their third teammate, they both called out. ARRGH. There was a loud, manly scream. Sakura and Naruto sprang to their feet and dashed in the direction of the noise. What they discovered was startling. Sasuke was in pain and on his knees. He screamed in agony while clinging to his ribs. The two genins, looking at their teammate in horror, thought it sounded awful. Sasuke-kun, Sakura screamed to get the Kusa-nin's attention. Naruto yelled, Haruno-san, you shouldn't yell so carelessly. How nice to see you two here, Naruto-kun and Pinky. Assisting Sasuke-kun. You arrived quickly. Have you taken care of my small pet yet? The alien ninja used his incredibly long tongue to lick his lips. You're as intelligent as the fourth Hokage was your age, I've heard, but are you as powerful? He asked and launched a counteroffensive. Naruto followed suit, encircling the Kusa-nin with some leaves. Leaf funeral. As the leaves pressed against the enemy's body, he screamed until only mud flew out. Naruto's eyes grew wide. Substitution or shadow clone in the Earth style. Kit, I want to fight, so let me out. You do not know WHO this man is. I can't let you out here, Kurama. Ni, because my teammates will find out. Survive or die, your choice. I apologize, Kurama.ni, but I'll have to handle this alone. The snake bastard laughed foolishly and said, Kukuku. I see, he said, you didn't even have to say more than 2 words, and you've already killed my clone. He approached Naruto, who had retreated from Sakura to avoid the snake man. Sakura was currently assisting Sasuke in standing up again, but he continued to wince in agony. At least he was trying, even though it was difficult to conceal the pain. Holding on to the scroll he had managed to steal from their adversary, Naruto continued to fight. Kukuku, it appears that you have received my Earth Scroll. Do you like it? I'll let you keep it if you're a good boy. His neck started to elongate, forming an enigmatic seal. Before Naruto even realized what was happening, he bit him. Team 8 heard cries of agony reverberated throughout the forest. Huh, Naruto-kun, that voice. Hinata uttered the words, paranoid as hell. Let's go, Hinata. You're being overly suspicious. As he opened the door to the tower, Kiba reassured her, Naruto is fine, he'll never die with his determination. I hope all is well with you, Naruto-kun. Hinata thought, please, be, and entered the tower. Let's go back to Team 7. Naruto-kun. As Sasuke and Sakura discovered Naruto unconscious in the middle of the forest, without any snake bastard nearby, Sakura muttered. That man's name was Orochimaru. Sasuke told me, he told me when we were fighting, he was after my eyes. He isn't a genin, he's a freaking Sannin. But if Naruto was pursuing me, why would you do this to him? For a long time, the question lingered in their minds. Observe, Sakura found out that Naruto-kun had succeeded in obtaining the Earth Scroll. Let's take a nap until he awakens, and then proceed to the tower. Whatever. Sakura took the scroll and placed it with their other scroll while Sasuke carried Naruto over his shoulder. Beneath the giant tree's roots, Sakura was using a damp cloth to dab at Naruto's forehead. Does he appear to be having a lot of fun? Perhaps we ought to remove his shirt or something. Sasuke flinched at the idea. You do it, I don't want to see him half naked. Sakura removed his orange shirt and then his blue short-sleeved hoodie jacket. The sight of a seal on his stomach made her gasp. What is that? It's a seal genius, Sasuke declared bluntly. I am aware of that, but why? She stammered. I'm not sure if I appear to be an answering machine. However, he did think about the question more than once. Why did Naruto have a seal on his abdomen? Did it have anything to do with the public's animosity toward him? Did it have anything to do with his ability to control leaves? Was he a genius perhaps because of the seal? Whatever it was, until Naruto woke up, it was a mystery. Sakura muttered, then we'll have to wait to find out, while using Naruto's shirt as a pillow and leaving the damp cloth on his forehead. Team 10. Like three goldfish, Ino, Shikamaru, and Choji were in awe of what they had just seen. After the battle with Gaara and Orochimaru, Naruto is now dealing with a seal on his stomach. What on earth was wrong with that group of people? Whatever it was, they left since it was probably best for them to remain in the dark. But I'd rather not go. Sakura gets to look after Naruto-kun and Sasuke-kun. I want to look after two attractive guys too. The poor boy's hearing system was ruined when Ino screamed. What, are you attempting to murder us with your voice? Shikamaru mumbled, troublesome woman, while tending to his aching ears. Shikamaru won't benefit from complaining. It will only exacerbate the situation. Choji responded, nursing his poor, injured ears in the same manner as Shikamaru. Gar, all the good guys go to that forehead girl. She gets the two smartest, coolest, and sexiest guys in the class, among many other things. Once more, Ino screamed. Naruto's point of view, what the devil is happening? This isn't what should have happened. It's completely dark. My shoulder hurt more than I've ever felt in one spot. That man must have done something, but what? I don't want to remember his words after he placed the cursed seal on me because they are still pursuing me. It's obvious that you hate this village, Naruto-kun, and I've been searching for the ideal body. That's why I think you're perfect. I'm smarter than those elderly fools, even though others may have been duped by your mask. You'll come after me in order to gain power and exact revenge on this village. My second plan will involve you, Naruto-kun, if the first one doesn't work out. Therefore, be advised that you will feel the need to depart very soon. But regardless of what aspect of my feelings are expressed, I don't want to leave Konoha because it's my home. Although I am aware that I harbor some animosity toward it, I could never. Damn it, what should I do? Kit, get up, Kit, Kurama.ni. Wake up, Kit, I can't fight it alone. I am unable to wake up, my body feels heavy and unresponsive, my eyelids feel like they are sewn together, and I am unable to open it. On my forehead, there's something wet and cold. Kurama.ni. I need your assistance. My body is hurting. Aid me. It's spreading throughout your body, Kid. That seal the snake bastard put on you. Before it takes over, you must wake up. Kurama.ni. I am unable to. You must. But the agony. Typical POV. What's going on, Sakura? Sasuke inquired after noticing some black dots dispersing across Naruto's face. That comes from that bruise, it's glowing. They were both looking at him in dismay. This couldn't be real, could it? Sakura replied, I can see that, Sasuke-kun. In what appeared to be fear, they both retreated a step, and three nins appeared simultaneously. One was smirking at their potential victims, another had hair that looked funny, and a third had bandages practically covering his entire body. As he and his group approached the two genins from Team 7, a man wearing a bandage assumed, look, Zaku, Kin, our target is already wide awake. Guess Orochimaru? Sama came to him a lot earlier than we thought. At the moment, Sakura and Sasuke were in their fighting stance, defending themselves by extending their kunais. Naruto's point of view. Why does my body feel alert all of a sudden? I feel like I'm going to wake up and this power is so powerful. I need your help. Kura.ni. I want to get out of bed now. I'm ready to wake up. Oh no, I'm sorry, Haruno.san and Uchiha.san. But I'm unable to move and protect my precious people. I'm weak. Prior to the second part of the exam, Uchiha.san would not have hated me. Haruno.san would not have been obsessed with me. Hinata.san would not have had to worry about me. And I should have listened instead of displaying my power. Ayame.ne. Chan. Tuchi.san. Konohamaru. Otouto. Moegi.san. Udon.san. Amino. Sensei. Hitaki. Sensei. Hina. Chan. Shikamaru.san. Shino.san. Choji.san. Yamanaka.san. Haruno.san. Uchiha.san. Hokage. Jiji. Kiba.san. Shikamaru.san. Shino.san. Shino.san. Choji.san. Shikamaru.san. 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 Hitaki. Sensei. And Kiba.san. I regret almost everything. When I do wake up, I swear I will, and I never break my word. I swear I will be the shinobi no one has ever been, and I swear I will be the one to save you all. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, and I'm not going down without a fight. Typical POV after the 3 auto. Nins and the 2 Konoha ninjas had started fighting. There was a loud explosion behind them, and everyone's favorite blonde hero, Uzumaki Naruto, was standing there. However, he was surrounded by a purple chakra, or was it just ordinary energy? What became of Naruto? His entire face was marked in black. Sakura stammered in surprise, N. Naruto.kun. His expression was solemn as he witnessed his teammates' injuries. His expression changed to one of emotion, revealing a completely different side of Uzumaki Naruto that no one had ever known existed. I don't know, or do I even care a little about which one of you 3 did this, but I'm going to kill all 3. My last pledge is that I will never lose again. Has a new hero emerged, or a brand new antagonist made? Team 10. What the devil? When the 3 members of Team 10 saw their friend and comrade acting so crazily and recklessly, they thought, he should have been the Rookie of the Year and their role model for hard work. He should have encouraged them to not be as careless as he was right now. He didn't even seem like himself. What the heck is going on? A startled Ino stammered upon seeing the smartest member of Team 7. Shikamaru was serious when he joked, I think a pig flew by. He and everyone else had never witnessed Naruto voluntarily issue a death threat, even if it was for an adversary. He was the type of person who would use reason to get what he wanted, but if it came to that, he would have to deliver it and issue death threats. Shoji responded, no, I think the sky is falling, as he searched the sky for proof but was unsuccessful. He had only ever witnessed Naruto acting so gravely once, long ago, when he had caught Mizuki stealing a scroll. Actually, it's a funny story, but that's for another time. Team 7 once more. I will never be merciful, I will never be painful, I will never be compassionate toward those who harm my beloved people. Even though I don't particularly love this village, my friends and I call it home. The ominous aura persisted. Whoever damages my house will be punished. Whoever damages my friends will die a slow death. It went on forever. Now, no one, not even Hinata, could stop him, not even his team, his teammates, his teachers, or his leader. Crack. It sounded like an arm breaking. Zaku, the boy, let out a horrified scream as the agony overtook his body. Sakura and Sasuke gazed in horror as they stood there. He pulled out his kunai, glanced at the other 2 members, and closed and reopened his eyes. I won't show mercy, that word doesn't even exist in my world, you asked for it, and I delivered it. The other 2 auto team members were now extremely frightened. Shadow possession no jutsu. Was Naruto shackled to a shadow now? Shikamaru. What the devil are you doing? The enemy is not Naruto. Kun. Ino let out a shriek. When Team 10 arrived, Sasuke and Sakura started to perspire. Shikamaru was attempting to flee from the blonde girl, just like Naruto. Naruto's eyes widened and the black marks vanished as he defended himself by raising his hands. Oh! Shikamaru.san. Along with the other ninjas, he shouted as the aforementioned ninja headed toward Naruto. Circa, will you please stop this? Alright, he was back to normal. Kin, let's go. Zaku, as the 3 auto nins fled, Dozu shouted. Naruto turned to face them. The shadow possession had already left him. What happened just now? He asked, appearing just as perplexed as the others. I did that. The entire area appeared to be in disarray, with trees destroyed and the ground completely destroyed. What the devil was that, just now, Naruto? Shikamaru looked at the blonde boy, who was equally perplexed as he was, and asked. I don't know, he answered. Sasuke surmised, perhaps it was related to that bruise on your shoulder. Maybe. Naruto glanced over his shoulder and saw a seal of some sort. That's a seal, but I don't recognize it, it has to be a seal outside the Uzumaki clan. The genin stared at him, perplexed. Well, Sasuke had already been told about their clan. As the genins made a... Oh, he clarified, the Uzumaki clan was sealing masters. After a while. Well, we had better leave now. Wouldn't we want to arrive at the tower late? Smiling, Naruto said. Although we still have 3 days. When Sakura realized that she and Sasuke had forgotten about the seal on his stomach, she turned to face him with concern. What's that seal on your stomach, Naruto.kun? Naruto froze. That was not what he expected to happen. That's the 8 trigrams sealing jutsu, he said foolishly, grinning foxily at them. They simply gazed at him, telling him, yeah, it's a seal, but for what purpose? I have an incredibly unique chakra for a typical genin. My normal chakra is kept out and that aspect of me is kept in by this seal. The story wasn't entirely false, but it wasn't entirely accurate either. He explained, as you can see here and here, as he lifted his shirt to reveal the seal to them. He pointed to the 2 openings and went on. There are openings in the seal, allowing some of the chakra to slip out if I need it. He then took off his shirt and went on. This is also a part of the Uzumaki clan jutsus. Sasuke said calmly, sure, whatever, getting up from his seat by the fireplace. Come on, guys. Sakura seemed to be leading the way. As he followed his 2 teammates, Naruto remarked nonchalantly, oh please. We still have 3 days, we should slow down a bit. We would like to arrive early, Sasuke said. Demon illusion, no jutsu flashback. Naruto, I want you to watch out for your teammates during the exams. Thus, Kakashi declared to Naruto, I hereby declare you the leader of this team, but only after you take the exams. Following Sakura and Sasuke's departure, when he had initially announced the Chuunin selection exam, they had a private meeting. Wouldn't it be preferable if Uchiha.san took the lead, Hitaki? Sensei? Perhaps he's better than me. He smiled in response. Asuma, Kurenai, and Guy were behind Kakashi. He chose to ignore them because he didn't really know them, until the woman interrupted, of course. I take it you're Naruto Uzumaki? Looking down at Naruto, she asked. Hey, that's me. Kurenai turned to face Kakashi, who was reading his book at the time, and said, you're taller than what Kakashi described you as. What is Kurenai.san? Huh? She let out a sigh at his foolishness, and he smiled at her. Ah, my youthful rebirth. I'll wager that my genius surpasses yours. The man in the green spandex yelled, leaping on his alleged opponent. Guy, you shouldn't make everything a game. I only brought him along to let him know that he was the team leader. The adults were now staring at Naruto, who laughed at them. Whistling to the wind, he quickly averted his gaze, but he understood why he was here and why Kakashi wanted him to be the leader. Illusion of Demon. Kai, I know we already have the scrolls, but please, Haruno.san and Uchiha.san, don't let your guard down for even a moment. Together, the aforementioned 2 Team 7 members nodded, and they proceeded to the tower. Even though they have been walking for a long time, Naruto felt as though they had only been walking for a few minutes. He was eager to visit the tower. Are they all alright? He asked. He kept making assumptions about this one thing in particular. Has one of his pals passed away? Were they injured? Who was the jerk who chose to harm his friends because he had a death wish? That odd seal on his shoulder, what was it? What's up with that guy from Gaara? If he ever had to explain the seal to everyone else again, what in the world was he going to do? Were they going to believe him? Would Shikamaru discover the solution? His mind continued to race with ideas, but only one remained. Are they really okay? Even though he was strong, he was quite weak when it came to his friends, so he would do anything to keep them safe. If something happened to them, he would probably freak out. Team 8 at the tower. Shino, do you think the attractive boys will make it? Kiba inquired, chuckling a little. Yes, Shino said bluntly. It's unfair, but they haven't even arrived yet. You still think they are stronger than us even though we were the first of the rookie 9 to arrive? Kiba snarled. Yes. Hinata laughed at the antics of his teammates. I hope they'll be here soon, she said, blushing as she peered out a window. Team 10 in the forest. Hello, Choji, Ino. A few guys over here have fainted, making their scrolls a simple target. Shikamaru called to his teammates, who were now sprinting in his direction. 2 ninjas with an almost open scroll stood in front of them, and there was a massive rock or something behind them. A.N. Do you recall the episode where the 2 ninjas opened their scroll outside the tower too early? Well, it's them. Easy, it's the right scroll, troublesome joy. Team 7 outside the tower. Naruto shouted to no one in particular, we're here, finally. He sounded exhausted. His teammates slept less than him, so he should be, but geez. As he opened the tower door, Sasuke muttered, let's just go, moron. Naruto's point of view, we've been at the tower for 3 days now. I had no idea who we would face in the finals because the examiners did not allow us to meet the other competitors. Shikamaru.san and Choji.san make the ideal team, and with or without Yamanaka.san, I believe they would also pass. Sabaku-san's team is destined to fail. Since there are 3 different kinds of censors, Kiba.san, Shino.san, and Hinata.san ought to be able to pass as well. I don't know the names of the Hinata.san relatives on that team, but I've heard they should be strong. They must have gone by. Haruno.san, Uchiha.san, and I were strolling down the hallway. I felt uneasy about this. I would have defeated whoever should have passed. As we entered through the tiny gray door, every other team entered simultaneously through smaller gray doors. Time paused as the 7 teams watched one another in the center of the hallway. When I saw Sabaku.san, I narrowed my eyes, and he looked at me in a similar manner. I moved first, and I was wearing a serious expression. I proceeded to the large gray door at the end of the hall after passing them all. All of the other teams trailed in succession when I turned to check if my team was catching up. As we entered, the first thing I saw was a massive sculpture of a hand made out of a ram's seal. The Hokage, proctors, and Chuunin senseis were waiting with high hopes for their team in a brief scene, and there was a stand where spectators could observe. Standing on the small scene was Hokage sensei. He was observing me with a mixture of excitement and a hint of nervousness. One of them is wearing a Sunajunin uniform, like the other senseis. He was Gaara's sensei, I assumed. Maeda sensei, Sarutobi sensei, Yuhi sensei, and another Auto guy in an Auto Chuunin uniform resembled Konoha's in black. It looked fantastic. Morino.san and Mitarashi.san were also present. I turned to face Hokage Gigi, who gave us a serious look. Admittedly, I was a little afraid. I discovered that the seal Hokage sensei used was from the Uzumaki clan after he sealed it away on my shoulder 2 days ago. What made him possess a jutsu from my clan at all? I chose to ignore the fact. The good thing was that I was able to shape chakra once more without feeling like I was going to die. As we entered 7 consecutive lines, I glanced at the competitors. Each team had its own line, putting us through a process with 21 participants and termed 3 by 7. There were other Chuunins, including Amino sensei, along with another man who coughed every other minute. Congratulations on passing the second test. Good job. Now, listen carefully as Hokage Sama explains the third test. Enko began. As he opened his mouth, Hokage Gigi said, for the upcoming third test, but before that, I would like to explain the true purpose of this exam. A.N. Sounds so wrong. Concerning the true purpose? As I glanced around, I noticed that the other genins were wearing dubious expressions. Why are all of our allied nations taking the test together? At that sentence, I let out a little gasp. Damn, what kind of genius am I? To raise the level of shinobi, to promote friendship among the countries, etc. I don't want the actual meaning to be unclear to you. This test asks, is it a substitute for war? Yes. How foolish am I? A substitute for conflict between the allies? Yes. If you go back in time, the nations that are now allies were rivals who fought for control of the world. The stage that these nations selected for combat in order to avoid needless fighting, I felt like I was going to yell at them. Hokage Gigi concluded, that is the origins of this Chuunin selection exam. Everyone turned to face me. You wouldn't have to fight if you were truly allied nations. Allied means peace. Regardless of who is strongest, that peace should endure. Why in the world would you sign an alliance agreement if you cannot trust one another? It is excessive to assign genins the responsibility of defending our nations. This is an exam, not a war, in my opinion. We can't be tricked into doing that. I'm leaving. Everyone around me let out a gasp. Why in the world should I do something like that when I don't want to? I started to turn around, but Hokage sensei's voice stopped me. Enough, Naruto, shouted Hokage sensei. Even though this is an exam, you are merely defending the honor of your nation. The nation's leaders will attend and observe. Our clientele will rise if Konoha performs well on the third test. Do you understand now? Oh, well, I suppose I'm not going out anymore. I just said, I understand. Yes, but why? Why must we risk our lives in battle? Kiba.san cried. Good question. Before Hokage Gigi spoke, there was a pregnant silence that consumed us all. The strength of the country is the strength of the village, the strength of the village is the strength of the shinobi, he said. My eyes narrowed a little, but that vanished once more. And a shinobi's strength is born through a life-threatening battle. This is a battle that could endanger lives, with your reputation and life at stake. Sabaku.san calmly remarked, I don't care what it is. Just hurry up and tell us what this life-risking battle entails. Hokage Gigi started to explain the third test, but he was cut off by a cough and a, actually. I gazed curiously at the man. I sincerely apologize, Hokage Sama. I will be the referee from now on. Would you kindly let me, Gecko Hayate? Gecko.san asked. By all means, Hokage. Gigi snapped back. Hi there, my name is Hayate. He coughed before the third test, and I could almost feel people asking, what is wrong with him? And, is he sick? It's a preliminary for the third test, to decide who gets to participate in the main event, I said. Preliminary? Haruno.san inquired. Preliminary, exactly what do you mean? Shikamaru.san also inquired. Sensei, I don't understand this preliminary, but Haruno-san began, asking why everyone present was not permitted to take the next test. We have a bit too many people left. According to the Chuunin exam rules, we must have a preliminary and reduce the number of participants for the third exam, Gecko-san said, interrupting himself with a loud cough. Because the first and second test may have been too easy this year. Behind Uchiha-san and me, Haruno-san muttered, no way. The third test will have a large number of guests, as Kakashi-san previously mentioned. In addition to taking notes and placing bets, they will assist in selecting the best candidate to become a Chuunin. Therefore, Gecko-san clarified, the fights could take too long and were limited in time. In any case, if you're feeling under the weather or want to quit after hearing these explanations, please come forward right away, because the preliminary will begin right away. What? Now? Kiba-san cried out. All right, I convinced myself that I would never lose again, not today, not ever again, I shouted in my head. Someone said, I'm going to quit. I gave him a startled look. Yakushi-san? I asked. It's all right. Yakushi-san said slowly, I have no choice but to quit because I'm too injured to fight right now. Are you all there? Gecko-san inquired. 20 participants remained after Yakushi-san had already left the area. I let out a sigh. I could see that nobody was going to give up now. All right, I suppose we'll begin the preliminary. There will be a 1-on-1 battle during this preliminary. You will essentially engage in combat as though it were an actual altercation. Now that there are precisely 20 participants, we will play 10 matches, and the victor moves on to the third test. There are essentially no rules. The fights will continue until one of you passes away, concedes defeat, or is knocked unconscious. Gecko-san coughed after speaking for a while without doing so. Well, if you don't want to die, then admit defeat right away. But I'll intervene and end the fight as soon as I declare that the victor is obvious, he sighed. A scoreboard appeared. And the object that will be controlling your destiny is this. This electronic scoreboard will display the pairings for every fight. The board started to roll names, and I gasped when it stopped. Now, this is abrupt, but let's announce the first two names of the first fight. Sasuke Uchiha vs Yoroi Akado. I looked at Uchiha-san, who was directly behind me, and said, Uchiha-san, be careful. Naruto, you should focus on yourself, Uchiha-san retorted. As I was about to speak, I furrowed my brows in concern, but the proctor instructed everyone who wasn't named to head to the stands, and we approached once more as instructed. I gave Uchiha-san a quick look. Our lives had been disrupted by these last few days, and I was eager to finish this so I could return home. However, I could never do that, of course. Are the rivals prepared? Both Akado-san and Uchiha-san nodded. Then start. They did just that. Typical POV. Sasuke sidestepped Yoroi's glowing palm that was aimed at his head and kicked him in the knee instead. He nearly lost his balance as a result, which allowed Sasuke to launch another attack. Unfortunately, Yoroi was gone when Sasuke turned. Never lowering his guard, he thought, Sharingan. To everyone's utter surprise, he pulled out some shurikens and hurled them at the sealed room statue. Behind that statue was a cunning sunglass bastard, but almost everyone assumed he was going insane. Yoroi's eyes widened as he gazed at the wire. Controlled shurikens through his sunglasses. Yoroi was caught by the statue as the shurikens passed him in a different direction. Great Fire Dragon Jutsu. Fire style. As a massive fire dragon rolled down the wires attached to his mouth, Sasuke screamed. When Yoroi was struck, the entire area erupted in a horrified scream. Naruto let out a sigh. Sasuke would be so careless, of course. Uchiha-san. Akado-san isn't done yet. Naruto thought, you ought to have seen that. And a man by the name of Akado Yoroi struck Sasuke's head with his glowing palm from above. Sasuke was unable to dodge this time. As he felt his chakra being depleted and his mind starting to haze, he let out a terrified scream. Hell no, I'm not going to lose. As he kicked the Akado away, he gave himself a mental reprimand. Phoenix Flower Jutsu. Fire style. It was impossible for Yoroi to avoid this time. One after another, balls of fire. Once again, I made it sound wrong. Flew out of Sasuke's mouth and knocked out Yoroi. Hayate went to see how Yoroi was doing. After coughing a few times, he declared, Uchiha Sasuke is the winner. Sasuke grinned and made his way to the stand, still breathing heavily. Excellent work, Uchiha-san, Naruto said. Thanks, idiot, he answered. Aburame Shino and Abumi Zaku were the two new names selected by the scoreboard. Good luck, Shino-san, Naruto said joyfully as Shino passed them silently. Naruto? The Uzumaki prodigy caught Sasuke's attention. Hello, Uchiha-san. He answered. Why in the world are you being so courteous? I don't know, was Naruto's direct response. Since I can remember, I have been this way. Only those I know are worthy of my resentment. I've never harbored resentment toward anyone else. He chuckled, hell, once I even showed my enemy respect, and he attempted to kill me. Which adversary? There has only been one risky mission for us, or two, if you include Tora the cat. Toji Mizuki. Sasuke gazed at him in a state of bewilderment. I killed him because he betrayed Konoha. Alright, Naruto was being too direct now. You're being overly direct. I am blonde. Sasuke perspired. Was this a brilliant move? Naruto looked away from Sasuke and toward the battle. Zaku's arms were on the verge of detonating. He glanced in Hinata's direction once more and paused. She blushed as she looked at him, and he grinned. The gecko declared, Aburame Shino is the winner. Please come forward, Tsurugi Masumi and Kankuro. They did. Uchiha-san. Naruto said. Yes. Why do you act so impolitely? Too direct a question? I don't need to be polite when I reject fangirls, kill, exact revenge, or, in this instance, don't care about my feelings because I was born this way. Ah. Why do you despise me? You're a jerk. A minute ago, I believed I was courteous. 5 minutes. All right, I apologize. There was a loud snap, and Kankuro had already won when Sasuke and Naruto looked down. Kankuro is the winner. A cough interrupted him, adding, Haruno Sakura and Yamanaka Ino are next up. As they passed, glaring at one another, Naruto waved, good luck, Haruno-san, Yamanaka-san. Sasuke smirked and snorted, saying, they're going to kill each other, 2 less fangirls to worry about. Naruto laughed. As they say, there are 2 dead and 200 to go. 200? Really? It would be an understatement. 300? Understatement. I'll win the heart of Sasuke and Naruto Kunns, Sakura cried out. Naruto muttered in horror, oh Kami. Sama, they're going to fight for our hearts. Indeed, is there a problem with our kidneys or something less serious? Sasuke made a joke. After 10 minutes, the fight ended in a draw after Naruto laughed. Hayate coughed, there is no winner in the 4th match. Tenten and Temari in the 5th match. Chick fight. Naruto said, perhaps they'll do something other than talk about hair. The perverted side of Sasuke emerged. Or perhaps they will tear each other's clothes off. Naruto whispered, you pervert. Uchiha-san. Oh, you have a fan. Uchiha-san. I assume you and Sabaku-san are sister matches. I despise you, Naruto. Why? You're still a jerk. Naruto muttered, gay dude always talking about my ass. Temari is the winner. Hayate coughed. Please come down here, Tsuchikin and Shikamaru, for the next match, and so they did. Hang on to the girl. The boy is 20. That was the sound of Kurenai and Kakashi placing bets on the outcome. Naruto and Sasuke sighed and let their perspiration fall. I'm going to look at Choji-san, Naruto muttered. I'm going to check on Ino and Sakura, Sasuke sighed. Hello, Choji-san. How are you? Choji grinned at the boy with the whiskers, and Naruto grinned back at him. I'm doing great, but I'm really tired. Hey, will you hold back if I enter a match with you? They all laughed, I don't want to die today. There is no doubt in my mind that I will never murder my friends. Naruto and Choji immediately returned to the battle after hearing a loud thud. Did Shikamaru win? There was a pregnant silence in the room until Shikamaru arrived with his signature word, troublesome. Winner is Shikamaru. Hayate declared, Match 7, Inuzuka Kiba and Uzumaki Naruto. WHAAAT. Kiba cried out. I'm not interested in dying. Are you all crazy? Naruto simply chuckled at him and gave Kiba a menacing gleam. He walked past Kiba and halted at Hinata, whispering dangerously, you're going down, Kiba-san. Your hair is really lovely, he said with a smile, and she flushed. The time had come. 2 good human beings were on the battlefield. Naruto, old friend, don't kill me, Naruto. Both are serious, but none of them are afraid. As stated, none of them were afraid. Uzumaki Naruto, Inuzuka Kiba. In the arena. Kiba-san, I'm not promising anything. Naruto smiled amiably at him. Dude. Kiba cried out. Are the players prepared? Gecko Hayate inquired. Both Kiba and Naruto nodded in agreement. All right, let's get started. Naruto heard a loud shout of, "Man-beast clone," as a smoke bomb was thrown around him. Inside the smoke still, Naruto was pondering how to get his leaves into the arena. He was thinking with his eyes closed. Fang ove fang. Man. Beast ultimativa tail jutsu. With remarkable speed, Naruto blinked his eyes open and leapt out of the smoke. Windows, he thought as he gazed at the enormous statue of hands. He grinned. With his hands in a ram seal, just like the statue, he leapt on top of it and said, "Kiba-san, I'm going to show you the true power of the leaves." Wind style. Arms of leaf. Massive leaves formed two hands on either side of Naruto and flew through the now broken window. The leaf hands moved in tandem with Naruto's hands. Leaping from the statue, he swung a claw at Kiba. He was obviously too far away, but the leaf claw also attacked when he hurled the human claw. Kiba avoided the leaves even though they were close enough. "The hell?" Kiba shouted after avoiding the leaves once more. Naruto summoned the leaves to orbs after deciding to give up on the arms after just one blow had flung Kiba against the wall. Orbs of destruction, in the wind style. They were easy to avoid, so they expanded as the orbs flew towards Kiba one after another. "Huh?" Kiba asked. "I don't understand your method." Naruto responded bluntly, "You don't have to get it, to lose to it." Naruto leapt to the air as the boar seal formed, saying, "I'll finish this off this time." "Wind style," he now shouted, cutting plates. As the orbs turned into plates, there was only one left for Naruto to stand on, so 4 were sent after Kiba. "Give Kiba-san up." "What? To a smartass like you? I will never give up," Kiba shouted as he ducked under the plates that were being thrown at him. "I thought of you as this kind, intelligent guy since the first day of the academy. I never saw you frown. You were always happy and shy. That guy isn't the one I see in front of me. I'm not sure what happened to him." Naruto's eyes grew wide. "Have I changed that much?" he asked. "You ought to acknowledge it. You only care about the respect you never received from the citizens, not about us." Kiba was aware of Naruto's issue with the civilians. "I saw a friend when I first met you. All I can see now is a man who resembles Sasuke exactly. You were never respected, were you?" Naruto stammered, I admitted, but his pulse quickened. "Is Kiba correct? I never wanted to change this much." His eyes grew wide. "Kiba-san, I have a dream. People assume I'm in no clan, but I don't have a family, and I don't receive the same respect from civilians as you guys do. Instead of the jailer, they see me as the monster." "Huh?" Naruto kept the monster inside of him a secret from everyone. That was never even a concern of his. For him, as long as he was liked by his friends. Naruto, that's not amusing. "Kiba-san, I'm not trying to be humorous. I want a clan, I want a family, and I want to be respected. To prove myself, I must triumph." Kiba was caught off guard when the final plate was thrown. He felt it in his stomach. Blood came out of his cough. Naruto's eyes widened as he hit the floor after Kiba fell to the ground. "Kiba-san," worried, he hurried to Kiba. Kiba was half dead when Naruto arrived. As he passed out, Kiba muttered, "Nice job, Naruto." Akamaru transformed back into a human. Medic?" As the medic Nin sprinted toward them, he yelled. Hayate sighed and took a step forward. "Uzumaki Naruto is the winner," declared Hayate. Naruto went up the stairs to the stands after Kiba was sent away. He was shaking uncontrollably, and his eyes were worried. It wasn't intentional on his part. He had no idea what had happened. All he knew was that he would never do it once more. Never, ever, ever. Hinata muttered, Naruto-kun, but Naruto heard her. "Yes, Hinata-san. Someone liked him for who he was, right?" He grinned as he looked up at her. "I mean, will Kiba-kun be okay? He is, I swear." Down at the arena, Hayate said, "Hyuga Neji and Hyuga Hinata, please come down here." Naruto's eyes grew wide. He turned to face Hinata, who was trembling in terror and struggling to regain her breath. It was challenging. "Take care, Hinata-san." What the hell was that? Naruto simply told her to take care. It would be more appropriate to say, "Don't get yourself killed, weakling." Still trembling a little, she muttered, I'm going to be fine," and headed for the arena. As he watched the match begin, he thought, Hinata-san. Neji began, "I never imagined that I'd be facing you, Hinata-sama." In a whisper, Hinata said, Neji-ni-san. As he coughed, Hayate declared, "Now, begin the match." "I want to say something to Hinata-sama before we start the fight," Neji said. You don't make a good shinobi. Forfeit now. At this, Hinata's eyes widened and Naruto's eyes narrowed. He inhaled deeply and said, "You are too kind. You only want harmony and avoid conflict. You agree with others and never resist. And you lack self-confidence. I always sense your inferiority complex, which is why I believed it would be best for you to stay a genin." "I'm going to murder that man," Naruto thought. Hinata was trembling in fear for her cousin as he went on, "But the Chuunin exam can only be taken as a team of 3. You couldn't turn down your teammates' requests." Unwillingly, they went in. "This is the truth. Am I mistaken?" Naruto's eyes widened as she stammered, "No, I just wanted to change myself, do it myself. Don't alter who you are. I love you just the way you are," he thought. "I thought you were a spoiled brat from the main house, Hinata. Sama. People can't change who they are." Neji cried out. "Losers are losers. Their character and strength won't alter. Differences arise as a result of people's inability to change. Elite and losers are examples. Looks, intelligence, skill, size, and personality are all evaluated based on these criteria." That guy, Naruto thought menacingly. People discriminate and are discriminated against because of these unchangeable factors. They also endure their own suffering. Neji went on to say, "Just like the fact that I am from the branch house and you are from the main house cannot be changed." That's it. When Neji said all those things, he crossed a line. "Hyuga, would you quit talking?" Everyone stared in astonishment at Naruto. "It's too much to say aloud, regardless of your opinion of Hinata-san. She is able to change. The future is determined solely by our actions and cannot be predicted," he cried out. "Kick his ass, Hinata-san." In Naruto.kun, she felt confidence rising as she looked down. "I'm not going to lose." Naruto.kun would never give up. Baikugan? Her eyes changed to something Naruto had never seen her do, and she exuded her greatest amount of confidence. The chakra veins on the side of her eyes continued to flow, almost making them shine. She looked stunning, at least in Naruto's opinion. "If I squeal, am I a fanboy? Because that's fantastic." As he turned on his Baikugan, Neji thought angrily, her eyes changed, they're more confident. They both adopted the Hyuga stance while glaring at one another. "Neji.ni.san, I will not flee. I will fight you." As they hurled their chakra infested palms at one another, Hinata yelled. With blue chakra flying from their palms, they both blocked, dodged, and attacked. The sight was breathtaking. One winner advances straight to the finals out of 2 Hyugas. Hinata took advantage of Neji's weakness and used her palm to strike him in the stomach. The fact that the young Hyuga princess could actually hit him made Neji furiously watch. As the veins in his face became even more noticeable, he thought, "That girl." He muttered, "I won't think twice about killing you, Hinata-sama." Naruto was observing intently from the stands when an idea struck him. Wasn't the main supposed to be protected by the branch family? They were expected to, of course, but why didn't Neji? Why would he wish to harm the main household's Hinata? To get an answer, I'll have to fight him. Hinata gasped in agony as she was struck at that precise moment. Pushing her to the arena floor caused her to pant. "But I took a step back." "What would you have done, Naruto.kun?" Demon illusion. No jutsu flashback. All right, class. We're here to learn about the previous Hokages at the Hokage monument. Now, does anyone know the clan from which the first Hokage originated? Grinning, Iruka posed the question to his class. His best ever class was that one. Iruka allowed Naruto to speak after he swiftly raised his hand as the only one. "The clan of Senju. They were distant relatives of my own clan and one of the original clans of Konoha. However, Hokage Gigi's former pupil Senju Tsunade is the only Senju still alive. She, Jiraiya.san, and Orochimaru.san are regarded as the 3 fabled Sanins. Jiraiya.san, the 4th sensei, is currently traveling and writing books after Orochimaru.san went rogue a few years prior to the 4th's announcement. Although they are aware that Tsunade.san is alive, no one knows what happened to her." Very impressive, Naruto. Could you tell me how you learned about the 3 fabled Sanins? Next week, we ought to discuss that subject. Naruto grinned and said, "When I first learn something, I don't rest until I find it all. Naruto's nindo has always been to never give up." Illusion demon. Kai. She coughed up some blood and said, "I won't rest. I won't stop until I succeed. I'll figure out why you despise me." She cleared her throat once more and got to her feet. "Because," she said with a small smile, "I'll never give in until I find it all." Incredulous, Naruto looked down as Hinata ran to her opponent before time stopped. Hinata.san. You have to accept it. You have no concern for us. Kiba's words continued to play tricks on his mind. Admit it. Admit it. I never saw you frown. You were always happy and shy. Hinata. San. Then an unexpected event occurred. Naruto leapt from the bleachers and landed in front of Neji and Hinata while Neji's final blow landed on his back. With a gasp, he drew the hurt girl into his arms and planted a kiss on her. They were surrounded by stunned, incredulous stares. They never would have thought Naruto would leap out and act so carelessly. In addition, he was now locking with the timid girl, and naturally, she passed out. As Naruto gazed down at the girl who had fainted in his arms, he thought, this way, she won't feel the pain. The medic. Ninjas sprinted to Hinata and Naruto, saying, "Arg, my back hurts." Hinata nearly pouted as they removed him from his embrace. He was merely pouting. Naruto pivoted and gave the branch member a fierce look. Hyuga-san, his scowl intensified. I am aware that you are most likely a genius, but your destiny has already been determined. When you were fighting your battle, your friends told me that you wanted to be the Hokage. You may be as intelligent as the fourth Hokage at your age, but your dream will never come true. No matter how hard you try, fate cannot be changed, Neji declared. Fate is not the foundation of the world, it is based on real people. Our world and future are built on our actions, no matter how many words or steps we take. Naruto began, covering his eyes with his bangs. You claim that no matter how hard you try, fate cannot be changed. It appears that you were attempting to disprove your own assertions when you nearly killed Hinata-san. You would have most likely killed her if I hadn't intervened. Are you pleased with that? Are you glad you nearly killed a member of your family? Neji walked away, closing his eyes. Avoidance is the same as walking away. Neji turned to glare at Naruto for his remark, saying, "Coward. I swear to win when I fight you." Neji concluded, and when that happens, you would die trying. As Naruto made his way up to the stand through the leaves, he thought, I'll kill that guy. Naruto. Naruto found his sensei when he looked up. How did the kiss go? As the pervert that he was, Kakashi laughed and Naruto flushed. After 2 bouts, the preliminary was over. Lee was not as badly hurt as most people would have assumed. He would be up and ready in no time, according to the medics. I know it's not true, but please be patient with me. I need him in the future. Although Choji lost, he did get the barbecue that Asuma had promised. However, that was initially. The final exam opponents needed to be located immediately. Hayate had just finished distributing the tournament numbers when he said, now tell me the numbers. It is 8, Dosu said. I have 1, Naruto answered. 7, Tamari replied. 5, Kankuro answered. 4, Sasuke shot back. 3, Gaara muttered dangerously. Difficult 9, Shikamaru shot back. 2, Neji responded. 6, Shino stated bluntly as usual. Good, said Hayate, this is how the tournament will look. Well, that's why we drew the numbers. Shikamaru shouted languidly. Neji gave Naruto a menacing smile when the board containing the tournament competitors was displayed. Hyuga-san, get ready to go down. I'm not sure how much stronger I'll be in a month, but it will be sufficient to prevail. What arrogance, idiot. Sasuke grinned. Uchiha-san, whimpered Naruto. I apologize, but I had no choice. Are you still upset about the altercation between Tamari, Sans and Tenten? Sans? Very, they all sighed together. How did the Hyuga girls' kiss go? Naruto turned red and averted his gaze. For some reason, the 2 boys were leaving the arena without even considering listening to the remaining questions from the tournament. Huh, that good? Stop talking. Uchiha-san. Would you be upset if I gave her a kiss? I'll castrate you with a spoon if you even touch her. Don't wait, I'll take off your arms and legs before using a spoon to castrate you. Naruto screamed angrily. Sasuke laughed and said, geez, calm down, Naruto. No, I'm serious. Naruto gave him a sly, malevolent smile. Moron, I'll force that spoon down your throat. No, I've torn your arms and legs off already. I'll put it in your throat with a headbutt. Arg, that must have hurt. Shino and Shikamaru are back. When did they start being the best of friends? Shikamaru inquired. Your best friend is Choji, and mine is Kiba. On missions, teammates become very close. Why? Since they must share a tent, Shino said. Being in a tent with 2 dogs is the worst thing ever. On your team, there is only 1 dog, you would assume that. Returning with Sasuke and Naruto. Why did you give her a kiss? Because it's adorable, to the point of fainting her? Sarcastically, Sasuke inquired. No, Your brains don't react to your thoughts when you faint. As a result, Naruto wisely retorted, she couldn't feel her own emotions when she fainted. To put it simply, she wouldn't feel the pain. Oh, so you were motivated by love? Yes, quite essentially. Smile. And to kiss her, smirk. This month, who will be our trainer? Hitaki. Sensei dips. Oi, no fair. Naruto, I'm not going to finish that sentence, but everything is fair. Thank God. A mysterious voice said, actually, Naruto, I'm going to train Sasuke here this month. We have a lot of work to do if he is going to fight Gaara. They located Kakashi by looking around. Now it's my turn to seek and yours to hide. Sweat fell from their eyes. Naruto, dressed casually, was strolling around the village. He was not wearing a jacket, gloves, bandages, a headband, or any weapons. He was only dressed in his shinobi sandals, dark orange tee, shirt, and dark blue shorts that hung down to his knees. A girl with pink hair yelled, Naruto-kun. He waved at her while turning his head and grinning. She went over to him. Would you like to accompany me to see Lee-san? What? She inquired. Of course. Is it possible for us to also visit Kiba-san and Hinata-san? She nodded as he responded. Should we start with some flowers? She gave another nod. Together, they strolled to the flower shop in Yamanaka and entered. Ino gave Naruto a cheerful greeting. Naruto-kun. She let out a shriek. He grinned and waved. How may I help you? Are you purchasing flowers for a special girl? She flashed her eyelashes with a quick blink. Yes, there is a girl among them. He took a fleur.de.lee flower. Haruno-san and I are going to visit Rock.san, Hinata.san, and Kiba.san, so I thought about buying some flowers for them. This flower is supposed to represent fire and resolve, am I correct? Ino took one of them with a smile on his face after nodding in response. Frisia, for thoughtfulness and innocence. Ino took one of those after nodding once more. A snowdrop, representing hope. Another pair was scooped up. Sakura walked over to pay, taking exactly the same as he did. I will pay, he said. What? No, I can pay, she said hastily. I can do it, it's okay, he said, and did. He waved as he and Sakura left. See you, Yamanaka-san. They paused at the receptionist on their way to the hospital. The receptionist nodded as Sakura gave her the room numbers and explained that they were there to see Lee-san, Hinata-san, and Kiba. First, they made their way to Lee's room. When no one answered, Naruto simply opened the door after knocking. Are you awake, Rock.san? He inquired, but noticed that nobody was present. Where is he? He stammered. The sound, 589, 590, came from outside. Sakura and Naruto approached the window and peered down to see Lee in training. Rock.san, murmured Naruto. As they both leapt out of the window and descended to Lee, he commanded, come on, Haruno.san. Rock.san, I must admit that at this moment, I admire you. Lee ceased to count on 596. Why? You do? He questioned incredulously. After responding with a nod, Naruto removed the fleur.de.lee. It represents fervor and resolve. You deserve a lot of praise for your diligence. However, I believe you should now take a nap. Lee jumped up and nodded. I'll be leaving in roughly 2 days. He reassured, I'll be there to watch your fight in a month. Naruto laughed and said, great, I want you to see when I smash Hyuga. Sans face in. By the way, Naruto-kun, shouldn't you be training? Sakura inquired. I should be, but I'm still without a sensei. I'll find a sensei after this, and then I'll go relax a little at the hot springs, he said. They left after 10 minutes of their visit. Thank you, Sakura-san and Naruto-kun, for the visit. Lee grinned at his two companions. Naruto said, you're welcome, Rock.san. Anytime, Lee.san, she said with a smile. Naruto declared, next stop, Kiba.san, and they waved Lee off. They heard a loud noise at the entrance to Kiba's room. Come on, Akamura, we'll give the doctors a hard time, a boy shouted. Another vice declared, Inuzuka-san, please sit still, this is just a shot, it won't hurt at all. As they opened the door, Sakura and Naruto began to perspire. At the moment, Kiba was standing on his bed while the nurse, whom he believed to be a doctor, tried to calm him down so that he could receive the injection. It didn't work. Leave, you can never give me that shot again, he shouted. Why is a shot even necessary for him? Sakura inquired. Painkillers, perhaps, Naruto said. When Kiba entered the conversation, she trailed off, saying, but he looks all better. Tell her that. He waved and grinned at them, saying, oh, Hey Naruto, buddy, Sakura, girl. Naruto and Sakura handed the flowers to Kiba as Orochimaru yaps in greeting. The visit went on for another 10 minutes or so before they had to depart because the nurse needed to give him his vaccination. Naturally, Kiba snarled in disapproval and started hurling as many insults as he could immediately come up with. Now, let's go to Hinata San's room, nay Naruto-kun. Are you anxious about her reaction? Sakura blushed and inquired. He was obviously anxious. He stammered, oh. Of course I'm nervous. They halted on the track as they were making their way to Hinata's room. She nodded when he said, I'll go get us something to drink because I'm kind of thirsty. In order to get a drink and escape the dull hospital room, they went down to the cafeteria. What would you like? When they arrived at the cafeteria, he asked her. I'll simply have some green tea, she said with a smile. Haruno-san, could you go find us a table or something? They said as they approached to place their drink order. What? He inquired. Please, 2 green teas. Sakura had already located a table for them. She wasn't entirely sure why they needed to halt at this moment. He most likely wanted to discuss his Hinata issue, she surmised. She let out a sigh. She grinned when he approached her holding 2 items. She guessed, I suppose you want to talk about it. What do I want to discuss? He tried his hardest not to come across as overly anxious. Would you like to discuss your Hinata situation? Oh, I see. Is it normal to be afraid of being rejected? With hesitation, he inquired. Her brows were furrowed. It's common for people to fear rejection, Naruto-kun. I take it that you're worried about how she will react to the kiss. He nodded in agreement. Too direct. Then you'll have to suck it up, and be a man. That was a very direct response, he said. As he let out a dejected sigh, Sakura gave him her naive gaze and said, Get over it. Oh, please, stop acting that way. They were interrupted by a giggle and turned to look for Ino and Shikamaru. You'll be fighting that Neji guy soon, and you're going to win because you are Uzumaki Naruto-kun. Hey everyone, Sakura grinned. Naruto said courteously, Shikamaru-san, Yamanaka-san, what a pleasant surprise. Nice, my ass. Our time together was completely disrupted by them. Inner Sakura let out a shriek. Header. Girl, Naruto-kun, what are you guys doing here? Innocently, Ino asked. Ino.pig, I should be asking you that. As I told you this morning, fool, we're here to see Lee.san, Hinata.san, and Kiba. Sakura retorted. Come on, we also purchased some flowers from you. Forehead, Ino hissed. Ino, pig, Sakura scowled. Shikamaru mumbled, troublesome women, as he and Naruto both sighed. You guys still have flowers left, Naruto. Who have you not yet visited? When he noticed his blush, he grinned. Hinata, nay? Naruto let out a sigh. Isn't that clear? He mumbled, I just needed some time to talk. When Shikamaru said, why, women are just troublesome, Ino and Sakura gave him a stern look. Don't give me that look. Do I have to go on? You're always too emotional, you have mood swings, you're always trying to look good, you're always on diets, and you don't even care that guys don't find bones attractive. Difficulty, I had to say all that. Women who cause trouble. Naruto laughed. You should not follow a diet if you are a kunoichi. All of the calories you consume from food are quickly burned off during training. He grinned at the 2 girls, saying, the calories you don't work off keep you alive for the most part. Naruto.kun, you're very intelligent, Ino remarked with a sparkle. Ino. Pig, he just kissed Hinata.san, so don't hit on him, Sakura yelled, and Naruto turned red. In relation to that, why are you all present? What? He inquired. Coming to see Choji. We're here to visit him after he overate at the barbecue shop. To tease him, we even brought some fruits, Shikamaru said. Well, we still have 1 visit left, Haruno.san, so we had better leave, Naruto remarked. It's strange, he thought, because I haven't spoken to Kurama.ni in a long time. Kurama.ni. Kurama.ni.san. Wake the hell up, Kurama. He made the decision to put the issue off for later. After leaving Shikamaru and Ino, Naruto and Sakura made their way to Hinata's room. As they walked, Naruto was breathing heavily. When Sakura realized this, she made an effort to console him all the way to Hinata. Hinata's breathing grew increasingly labored as they arrived at the door to his room. He muttered, I don't think I can do tea. This. Sakura teased, suck it up, chicken. B.But. Hinata. San. Sakura entered the room without knocking and interrupted. Oh, Kiba, Shino. She said it again. Why are you here? You ought to be in bed. Ha. As if Naruto had the strength to restrain me to a bed. Ha ha ha, never, he spoke resolutely. He turned to Naruto, who appeared anxious, and said, "It took you your time to come over." Sakura removed the freesia from Naruto's hand and placed it in the vase where other people had come to place their flowers for her. "Here you go, Hinata-san. 2 freesia. How are you now, Hinata-san?" She stammered, I'm fine, thank you, Sakura-san. Naruto's heart started to race. Shino saw that their eyes had locked. "Kiba, Sakura, perhaps we should leave them alone for a bit," he proposed. "Nice idea." Sakura concurred. "You're the man, Shino," Kiba uttered hastily. Akamaru agreed and barked. Leaving the 2 Konoha-nins alone, they left the room. Naruto stammered, I understand why you kissed me, Naruto-kun, she said in a whisper. "Why? You do?" His eyes grew wide. Perhaps it was time. He said, "Yeah." His heartbeat accelerated. At that point, his heartbeat slowed down. Was she truly that thick? It was for me, not to feel the pain. Or perhaps she didn't want it to be affectionate. "And I thank you for that, Naruto-kun, she said. "However, shouldn't you go out and train?" "What?" she inquired. "Oh, why?" "Yeah," he shrugged off her ignorance of the meaning of that kiss, although he was deliberately saddened by it. He needed to train because he had a match to win. In the first match, I'll be facing Hyuga-san. Taking on a noble clan has always been my goal. Apart from the Uchihas, that is. He grinned at her. "I must leave." He walked out of the room, saying, "See you, Hinata-san." "How did it go? Have you shared a kiss yet?" "You did, didn't you?" Kya? Sakura became a fangirl. Naruto frowned and turned his head away. His dejected expression said it all. "No, you can enter now. I need to find a sensei to train me." The discussion wasn't very successful. "I need to find a sensei, but first I need to unwind. Glorious springs," and he proceeded to the hot springs. Upon entering the hot springs, he gazed at the steaming hot water. He let out a sigh. "After this, I'll need to speak with Hokage. Gigi. I am unable to reach Kurama.ni. That seal the snake bastard put on me might be connected to it. This is really bothersome." He paused his thoughts. "I sound like Shikamaru-san." Naruto searched for the source of a perverted giggle that he heard abruptly. He approached the source and saw a man with long, white hair pulled back in a ponytail. Naruto began, "Pardon me, Oji-san," but the man simply ignored him. "Oji-san," no response. He discovered a tree with an abundance of beautiful leaves. Slicing leaves in the wind style. As shurikens, each leaf started spinning quickly and aimed directly at the pervert. When the pervert finally turned to look around, he saw 3 leaves approaching. "Garg!" As he ducked between the 3 leaves, he shouted out. "Brat, what the hell was that for?" He gestured accusingly at Naruto, who simply stared at the man in disbelief. "Oji-san, you ought to respect women more," Naruto stated bluntly. "Brat, you're too direct." "So I've heard." "Brat, who are you?" "You possess an intriguing talent," the spy inquired. "Naruto Uzumaki. You are, too. You have no idea who I am? Let's cut it short. I am the greatest of all of us, Jiraiya. Sama, the Toad Sannin, one of the legendary 3, he shouted. "Well, Jiraiya-san, I didn't think you were a pervert." "I am not a pervert," Naruto said, staring at him inquisitively. He scolded, "I'm a super pervert." Was he just going to confess to being a pervert? "I'm sorry, super pervert." Naruto brushed it aside. "This is a fantastic chance. One of the 3 fabled Sannins could train me." He grinned at Jiraiya and said, "Jiraiya-san, I need someone to help me prepare for the Chuunin finals because I'm competing against a prodigy." "No can do, child." "Well, why not? You're too foolish looking." Naruto gave him a fierce look. "Stupid looking? Not even that was a reason." Leaf Kanon. Wind style. As they moved in the direction of the Sannin, the leaves turned into blue, glowing balls. Naruto gave his attack a sly smile. The Sannin were frantically searching for the balls. "Teach me." All right, if..." "Oh no, if what?" "If the right material can be found, remove your shirt." A child. "Touch her, are you?" "No, something must be seen." All right, but please keep your distance." He removed his shirt, blushing in shock at the thought of exposing his upper body to this man. "You pervert, stop staring at me." "Well, try shaping some chakra." Naruto followed instructions and shaped some chakra. "I want to beat the shit out of him with my chakra." Jiraiya looked more closely as a seal appeared on his stomach. He is Minato's child, and he resembles him exactly. However, the seal appears to be broken in some way. On the other hand, it appears to be fine. Repaired, are the two out. Slipping entrances. I don't even think it's a seal. It's some weird pattern. He stepped back and was startled to see the cursed seal. Orochimaru. When will you stop raping me, Jiraiya-san? Raping him? Jiraiya thought. I'll kill him before he knows. He said, you can put your shirt on again. You seem like a strong kid, so I'll take you in as my apprentice. I am a prodigy, the most intelligent person since the 4th Hokage. Too direct, brat, too direct, so I've heard. Well, I'm positive you have. Anyway, if I'm correct, there is only 1 month, so let's get started. Yes. Naruto gave a nod. Oh, let's enjoy ourselves then. I'll begin with a practice for chakra control. I completed the tree exercise already. How many other people are there? The water exercise is the one I'll be teaching you. You and the 4th Hokage will then receive what I give all of my apprentices. A summoning contract that will allow you to call forth a toad and sign your name in blood. Have you been instructing the 4th? Naruto questioned incredulously. Of course I did. Geez, what are they teaching you brats in the academy? A lot of stuff. Too direct. Naruto grinned. Jiraiya grinned and said, let's get this over with, Naruto. Naruto was still walking in the water an hour later. He was standing on the water, breathing heavily. Well, nearly. Right now, he was attempting to maintain his equilibrium. I had no idea it would be this difficult, he let out a moan. BWUHAHAHAHA. Unfortunately, Naruto, my training is 100 times more difficult than that. Jiraiya made fun of it. GARGH, Naruto shouted. I'll murder that jerk. I will never, ever allow him to live. Even though he is a ninja, the boy in the hot springs is dressed casually. He has blue eyes and blonde hair. As he struggled to stay upright on the water, he was breathing heavily. He was trembling. At the moment, his balance was poor. This was difficult, he said, panting. Jiraiya teased, I guess you're not the genius you say you are. I've mastered it already, and based on what I've been reading, this training usually takes a week or two, the genius cried. It's just the second day. You terrible fool, Naruto, you didn't learn it, your balance still needs improvement. But, no buts. You. Now train, I said no buts. What was that I just said? I said no buts, now train, you said. What are you doing, too? Talking to you while I train. Cunning child. In a different location, simultaneously. Kukuku. Naruto.kun will soon have the desire to depart from Konoha, a body of an Uzumaki, It's on par with the Sharingan. They have strong chakras and heal more quickly. He could be useful, Orochimaru said, glancing down at a Kabuto who was kneeling. That boy isn't normal, Orochimaru. Sama. If you attempt to take over Kyuubi's body, I'm concerned about the response that will be given to him. You might be turned away and actually killed. I don't mean to offend you, Orochimaru. Sama, but Kyuubi is a strong creature that could easily defeat any type of human. He nearly killed the 1st Hokage and even killed the 4th, but was only defeated by Uchiha Madara and the Wood Release, Kabuto retorted. Kyuubi won't have any issues with the cursed seal because I've already cut off all power and contact with it. Now, Naruto.kun is just as good as me. He used his tongue to lick his lips. Simultaneously with Naruto. Jiraiya sighed as she continued to gaze at the boy who was fully focused. Come here, Naruto, for a minute. Naruto gave him a perplexed look, but he dismissed it and leapt to the ground. Jiraiya. Sensei, what is it? He trailed off. I am fully aware of the fact that you know about Kyuubi. Jiraiya. Sensei. A sweet, sweet ring in his ear. Kurama, Naruto answered. Kurama. What are you discussing, brat? Kurama is his name. After the Jubi was split up into 9 parts, the sage of the 6 paths personally gave it to him. Jiraiya gaped a little. This kid, is he friends with Kurama or Q? Jubi. He gave it careful thought. Kiddo, tell me everything you know. The sage was being worshipped as a god as a result of his victory over the Jubi, the most formidable demon in the ninja world. The sage created a method to seal the beast inside of him so that he could use and control its terrifying power to defend the world from the Jubi. This made him the first Jinchuriki. He divided them even though he had successfully sealed the Jubi because of its immense power, which would cause the seal to shatter after the sage's passing. Well done, brat. I suppose I gained something from instructing you, Jiraiya said. Everyone does, I said. Brat, you remind me of Hitaki. Sensei, old perverted sensei. Do you really think you're not his dad? They were both extremely perverted and had gray hair, among other things. Although I don't know Kakashi's father, I did know him. An honorable man, Konoha's White Fang. He gave up a mission to save the lives of his fellow soldiers, but all he received in return was hatred. He then killed himself. Oh, how unfortunate Hitaki. Sensei is. I should get him a present. You might as well give him my most recent book, A Lover's Violent Quarrel. With a wide, open mouth, Naruto exclaimed, this man, the Honorable Jiraiya Sama, is the author of those perverted books. He is the one who forces Hitaki Sensei to read rather than instruct us. I must inform Uchiha.san that if I am unable to kill him on my own, he will assist me in doing so. You already know about this. Do you like it? You could work as well, but I was hoping for some fans who were older. I'm going to kill you, old man. Huh. Leaf cannonballs. A wind style. As he threw the leaves after the unfortunate Sanin, they gathered into tiny, blue, glow balls. Remember that I am your sensei, brat, Jiraiya shouted as he swerved around the fast, moving leaf cannons. Oh, I see. I take it you wanted to tell me something about Kurama.ni? Ni? I regard him as my older brother because he essentially reared me. Whatever, Jiraiya sighed, right. In any case, I wanted to ask you about the whole thing of controlling his chakra. Do you know how to control the Kyuubi's, Kurama's, chakra? No, I never tried. Is that something I can do? Not with the cursed seal that prevents Kuramas from entering our world. Take a seat for a moment. Naruto complied and took a seat. When Jiraiya produced a pencil and a scroll, he became somewhat alarmed. I promise that it won't hurt at all. Naruto continued to ponder. Jiraiya took Naruto's hand and wrote some seals on the paper. With a kunai in hand, he cut Naruto's thumb. Then he smashed some of the blood on the paper and some on Naruto's stomach. Naruto saw at once that only the parts of the mysterious seal were covered in blood. When Naruto felt his stomach crack, he gasped aloud, clutched his gut in agony, and winced. Seal art. Cracking of a seal. An hour of waiting and a brief passing out.
That's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this great story. See you in the next one.